Chapter 558. Officer, it's not that serious. I really didn't want to kill her. It was just a mistake. The interrogating officer took the opportunity to pressure the paparazzi. Tell me everything you know. Xianxia stayed in the autopsy room until late. She wanted to know how much the paparazzi could spit out. Unfortunately, the paparazzi only admitted that he pushed Xianxia. Of course, he also told her about the car accident and the name of the person. As for the man who appeared in Xianxia's house that night, the paparazzi only took a picture of him wearing a hat and lowering his head. He could not identify him at all. It's 1 a.m. We can't get a car anywhere now. Shall I ask Tang Yan to send you? The professor suggested. At this hour it was dark and windy outside. Xianxia was still afraid. So when Tang Yan entered the forensics lab, Xianxia could only say politely, "Thank you, Officer Tang. I'm still riding a motorcycle today. If you are not used to it, I'm used to it." Xianxia flattered him. Tang Yan did not say anything. He just passed the helmet to her. "I really thought that you never ask for help." Xianxia lowered her head and secretly rolled her eyes. "If I had any other choice, I definitely wouldn't ask for help from you. Let's go." Xianxia did not expect Tang Yan to lift her up with one hand and put her on the back seat. Then he stepped over the body of the car. This man was really strong. With him in front of her, it was like there was an indestructible wall. Xianxia felt comfortable blocking the wind. Soon Tang Yan sent her downstairs. Xianxia thanked him and quickly went upstairs. She did not expect her roommate to bring her boyfriend back. They were having a good time in the living room. So she quietly left. But she was afraid of the stairwell, so she quickly rushed downstairs and stopped Tang Yan's car. "Officer Tang, please take me in." Tang Yan glanced at her and then looked at the apartment. "What's wrong?" "My roommate and boyfriend are inside." Tang Yan glanced at her and then quietly approached her. "You are a single woman. Are you inviting me to my house? I trust and respect you as a police officer, okay? Or you can lend me money and I can stay in a hotel." Xianxia was angry. "Get in the car." Tang Yan did not say much. "Don't let my uncle know tomorrow." "Who wants others to know?" Xianxia blushed. Why did she trust Tang Yan? Firstly, it was really because she believed that he was a police officer. Secondly, this man should not be interested in relationships because he was a complete workaholic. As for the third reason, after so many fieldwork, whether it was a hotel or a bar, she would be worried about her safety. The car was fast, but it was also long enough. When Tang Yan drove Xianxia to his house, she almost fell asleep. Somehow, she followed Tang Yan into his apartment, and the furnishings in his apartment were really in line with a single man's taste. It was totally an American industrial style. "Look at that big sandbag hanging in the hall. I'll sleep in the study. This is your activity area, but don't touch my things. The bedroom is upstairs. Help yourself." After that, Tang Yan entered his study. Xianxia could not help but take a deep breath. In order not to bring trouble to others and herself, she simply washed up and lay down on the sofa next to the bed on the second floor. She knew that her body did not smell as good as it seemed. Because she was very tired, Xianxia fell asleep very quickly. Tang Yan, who was in the study, was a little curious. Why was Xianxia not moving? So when he went out, he saw that Xianxia had curled up on the sofa and fallen asleep. He did not disturb her. "You have a bed, but you don't want to sleep. Do you dislike it?" It was precisely because of such an opportunity that Tang Yan could finally take a good look at Xianxia when she was quiet. Her looks were top-notch, but her personality was not pleasing. Her mouth was also poisonous, and there was a sense of wickedness in her bones. Tang Yan felt that such a woman was not his type at all. So he looked at her for a while. Then, out of politeness, he looked away and went back to his study. Grandpa Xing fell sick again. But the matter between Huang Yao and Tiffany and Company had to be resolved. Xing Bowen returned to Huang Yao the next morning and attended the board meeting as scheduled. He took out Charney's contract. "I met Charney yesterday and sent him off at night. We talked about the cooperation between Huang Yao and Tiffany and Company and he agreed to restart it. But there are some conditions. You can take a look at it. One of the conditions is that he is willing to use money to fill the gap. It does not mean that we can withdraw our investment. Secondly, he hopes that our cooperation will be based on me being the CEO of Huang Yao. You can discuss this." When the shareholders saw the contract, they saw hope. Moreover, Grandpa Xing had already decided to make Xing Bowen the CEO and Xing Kai the vice president. Now it was reasonable for Tiffany and company to make such a request. I have no objection. I believe that third young master will not let us down. But my grandfather is sick now. I will temporarily take over the role of the CEO. As for the rest, we can talk about it after he wakes up, said Xing Bowen. What do you think? Everyone take a stand. We all agree. Xing Bowen went to Huang Yao to deal with some matters. Naturally, Xing Kai stayed in the ward. Before this, it was Xing Kai who guarded against third brother and his wife. Now it was time for the tables to be turned. Seeing this, Gu Xiling pushed Hu Ran aside. Don't tell me that you are not worried that Grandpa's will fall into our hands. You and third brother pretended to be dignified before. What about now? You and your wife have become sick. Can't you feel it? Hu Ran said coldly. If you and third brother really don't care about the inheritance, then you shouldn't be so anxious now. Whether you believe it or not, third brother and I hope that Grandpa will be safe. We also hope that you will not say such vicious words in front of Grandpa. He will not do as you wish. Gu Xiling laughed mockingly. Since her husband was there, she wanted to push Hu Ran out of the ward. It's better for us not to stay in the same space. Otherwise we will be kicked out again. That will be a joke. Hu Ran was not as shameless as Gu Xiling. So she sat on the bench outside the ward. She did not believe that this couple would be so kind to take care of Grandpa Xing. All they cared about was the inheritance that Grandpa Xing was holding on to. Chapter 559. After a while, more people came to the ward. This time the Xings did not know the people who came. But they came with the doctor to transfer Grandpa Xing to another hospital. When Xing Kai heard that, he immediately stood up and asked, "Who are you?" "We are experts invited by Mr. Xiao. We want to do a further examination for Grandpa Xing and formulate a treatment plan," answered the person. Xiao. Xing Kai sneered when he heard the name. "You used to anger Grandpa half to death. Now you are putting on an act." At this time, Xing Bowen came back from Huang Yao and entered the ward. "What's going on?" The people eighth brother found may sound nice, saying that they are here to treat Grandpa, but we all know how serious eighth brother is. Isn't it obvious what he wants to do? Xing Kai stopped the group of people. "We won't turn around. Eighth brother won't harm Grandpa. Of course you believe him. But I don't. I've seen through the tricks you and eighth brother are playing. You want to control Grandpa and the whole of Huang Yao, right? No way." Xing Kai refused to budge. "Second young master, if you resist like this, you might delay the chairman's treatment." "Don't scare me with this," said Xing Kai firmly. Xing Kai said firmly. "I don't want those ambitious people to touch Grandpa unless he comes to talk to me personally." Xing Bowen rolled his eyes when he saw this. Just when he was about to speak, the door of the ward was pushed open again. The person who came said in a calm and powerful tone, "What do you want to talk about?" "Eighth brother." Xing Bowen immediately looked at Xing Xiao. When the doctors and nurses saw Xing Xiao, they knew that the person in charge had come. Because Xing Xiao's aura was so strong that they could not ignore it. "Since you're really here, let's have a talk." With that, Xing Kai stood up. "Everyone else, get out." "Why don't you go out and talk?" Xing Bowen asked. "Before that, I won't let you touch Grandpa." Xing Bowen was speechless. "No one needs to go out," said Xing Xiao bluntly. "If you have anything to say it here. I don't want to waste more time on you." "Waste?" Xing Kai could not help but laugh sadly. "Eighth brother, you used to trust me. Otherwise, you wouldn't have handed Huang Yao to me. But why do you have to go against me in every way? You don't know the reason." Xing Xiao walked into the ward and sat down on the sofa. "You're wrong. I didn't hand Huang Yao over to you. It's second brother who was killed by you. The second brother in the past wouldn't use all means to humiliate and guard against his brother just because he was in power. But you would. You're afraid that someone will seize your power and take everything away from you. That's why you've become extremely selfish. How dare you talk about my trust? Once upon a time, you asked me if I regretted leaving behind Huang Yao in the future. Right now, I can tell you very seriously that I don't regret it at all, because your misfortune wasn't caused by me. You enjoy the glory of being the crown prince while blaming me for giving you so many problems. But if I don't leave, the position of crown prince will never belong to you. You Don. Huang. I know you are eloquent. I can't win against you. Xianxia wanted to talk at first. Now that Xianxia was willing to talk to him, he wanted to escape. You are such a failure, Xianxia said. You are not even as good as the receptionist of Zhongting. To put it bluntly, I look down on you. You are not even qualified to be my opponent. Third brother always gives in to you. I don't have the energy to do that. Do you really think that you can stop me? Xianxia looked at Xianxia coldly. His tone was much sharper. He did not give Xianxia any face at all. And her. Xianxia pointed at Gu Xiling. I don't want to see Grandpa Xing in the hospital. If you want to use force, I'm ready. Eighth brother, you still like to bully others. That's because you are not capable. Xianxia replied. You didn't listen to me when I tried to persuade you. You just want to do it the hard way. When Xing Zhao's aura rose, everyone in the ward was afraid. Ever since he established Zhongting, he rarely acted like this. But today there was a special one. Xianxia is your brother after all. I don't even recognize my ancestors. Xianxia retorted sharply. You Gu Xiling have contributed a lot to Xianxia becoming like this. If you don't want your grandfather's business to be destroyed from now on, you'd better avoid me whenever you see me. I'm disgusted by you. I'll give you 2-3 seconds to get out of my sight. Otherwise I will show you the new Xianxia. Everyone's heart skipped a beat at Xing Zhao's words. Xianxia was stunned for 2 seconds. Then he walked out of Grandpa Xing's ward. Of course, Gu Xiling did not dare to stay when her husband had left. Eighth brother is furious. So scary. Hu Ran quickly whispered into third brother's ear when she saw the two of them leaving. Of course. How do you think he managed the Xing family all these years? Third brother said. Domineering. Mr. Xing, I don't think there's a need for a consultation. Grandpa Xing has woken up. The doctor who was examining Grandpa Xing suddenly said to everyone. Maybe what you said just now provoked him and woke him up. Xing Bowen looked forward and saw Grandpa Xing opening his eyes. Grandpa, how do you feel? Grandpa Xing had been unconscious for a night, so he had difficulty speaking. I'm fine. He had indeed woken up when he heard Xing Zhao's voice. But he did not expect that Xing Zhao had already taught second brother a lesson. Since he's awake, let the doctor do another check. I have something to do, so I'm going back to Zhongting. Xing Zhao did not want Grandpa Xing to know that he had been here. Eighth brother, you should care about Grandpa. Xing Zhao said nothing and let Su Che open the door. Soon he disappeared from the corridor of the hospital. Meanwhile, Xianxia and his wife were in the garden of the hospital. Xiling, do you know? I'm really tired. I want to leave the Xing family completely. I want to start my own business. I don't want to be ordered around by Xing Zhao like a dog anymore. How could Gu Xiling not be angry? Chapter 560. You're right. If Xing Zhao could rebuild Zhongting, why can't I? But if we leave, we won't have a share in Grandpa's inheritance. Xiling, now is not the time. Let's just bear with it. Gu Xiling stopped talking when she heard the word, inheritance. She did not want to let the Xing family benefit from it. One was Mu Qiqi and the other was Hu Bimbo. But I have never been wronged like this since I was young. Never. Gu Xiling felt uncomfortable when she thought of Xing Zhao's humiliation just now. Don't worry, I've noted down all of these debts. When Grandpa leaves and we get our hands on the inheritance, we'll settle it again. Xianxia did not know how ugly and hideous he looked at the moment. Of course, Xing Zhao would never treat Xianxia as his brother after what he said just now. They would be enemies when they met again. Grandpa Xing woke up and sat on the bed for a long time. After a while, he asked Xing Bowen, how long have I been unconscious? Grandpa, just one night. From now on, leave the matters of the Xing family to us. You can't be agitated anymore. Xing Bowen said to Grandpa Xing. Grandpa Xing's eyes were a little dazed. He looked into the distance and could not focus. After a while he said, yes, I can't take care of it anymore. I am relieved to leave Huang Yao to you because you are a generous person. It doesn't matter if second brother and his wife are arrogant. After all, eighth brother will not stand by if they cause trouble. In the end, isn't eighth brother still managing Huang Yao? What do I need to worry about? My only regret is that apart from fourth sister who is pregnant, none of you have children yet. I can't see the next generation of the Xing family being born. Grandpa, there will be. Your eldest brother is always flirting everywhere and is not serious at all. Your second brother is infertile, and after your fifth brother emigrated, he rarely comes back. Your sixth brother is disappointing, and your seventh brother is crazy. Now who else can I count on? Grandpa, are you saying that second brother is infertile? Xing Bowen grasped the key point and asked Grandpa Xing. Don't tell anyone about this. You and Xiao Ran have to hurry up. Xing Bowen was still a little shocked when he heard the news. Xing Kai couldn't have children. Perhaps some things were destined. So you don't have to hate him so much. Because of these two comas, the old man felt that his time was free. If he could live one more day, even if it was just one day, he really did not have the mood to resent and plot. Unfortunately, second brother and his wife were walking further and further down the road of reunion. Xing Xiao threw a tantrum at the hospital, and Su Che sent a message to Mu Qiqi about it. So after she had no classes in the afternoon, she did not go straight to the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Instead she went to Zhongting. When the secretary saw her, she was about to knock on the door for her, but Mu Qiqi made a shushing gesture and took the coffee from the secretary. It's almost night and you're still drinking coffee? Change to a glass of water. The secretary did as she was told and quickly handed her another cup. Mu Qiqi knocked on the door and entered. She walked straight to Xing Zhao's side, but he did not notice her. He simply took a sip from the cup, and when he found that it was plain water, he looked up in confusion. It's almost 6 o'clock, why are you still drinking coffee? Xing Xiao put down the pen in his hand and leaned against the chair in a relaxed posture. He turned to Mu Qiqi. Why did you come? Because of someone. He went to the hospital today and threw a big tantrum. I thought you would need my comfort, so I came here immediately. Mu Qiqi sat on his lap. Are you worried about Xing Kai? Xing Xiao shook his head. Since I don't treat him as a brother, I definitely don't want to waste time on him. Then why are you still so shameless? You just feel that Xing Kai has betrayed your trust, and you have betrayed the trust of everyone in Huangyao, right? Mu Qiqi guessed. Although you are indeed successful in the business world, Xing Kai is a person and an ambitious person. People's hearts will change. This is not something you can control. Xing Xiao gently stroked Mu Qiqi's hair. Mu Qiqi's hair must be fragrant since she did not go to the autopsy room. So he relaxed and temporarily removed the invincible armor. As long as you have a clear conscience, that's enough. He did not expect that this little one actually knew how to comfort him. Leave those things to third brother in the future. You know very well that he will have to face it himself sooner or later. Look at you. It seems that you can't continue working. Hardworking Xiao Xing, why don't you skip work today? Xing Xiao raised his wrist and looked at his watch. Then he put Mu Qiqi down and said, I'll send you to the forensics laboratory. No need. I'll accompany you tonight. We'll do whatever you want to do. Feng Xianxian and Tang Yan were there anyway. The professor should not be short of help. But her man needed her company. The invincible god could also be weak and let his imagination run wild. In the evening, Gu Xiling came to the ward with dinner. When she saw Grandpa Xing, her expression was a little unnatural. The butler asked the kitchen to make these dishes. They are all Grandpa's favorite dishes. Third brother, you and Xiao Ran can go back and rest. Xiling will be fine here. Xing Bowen glanced at Hu Ran and finally agreed to Grandpa Xing. Then we'll go back and rest. In fact, it was a compromise. He wanted to let Gu Xiling know that they never wanted to take the opportunity to make Grandpa Xing change his will. Everything was just Xing Kai's imagination. Go. Grandpa Xing waved at them. After they left, he said to Gu Xiling, second brother can't have children. What are you going to do? I'm going to tell him and do a test tube test, Gu Xiling replied. Gu Xiling replied. I heard what you said in the afternoon. You said that you want to see the next generation of the Xing family being born. I'm old and can't play around anymore. The world belongs to you young people. But Xiling, since you're the one I've chosen, you're also outstanding. However, I hope that you and second brother can support each other and not become each other's stumbling blocks. Since you're going to do that, go ahead. That was Gu Xiling's plan. If they had children, wouldn't they get a bigger share of Grandpa Xing's inheritance? Looking at Grandpa Xing's body, it was not a sign of longevity. She had to plan everything as soon as possible. But if she told Xing Kai about it, he would probably go crazy. What she was afraid of was that even if Xing Kai agreed, the quality of his sperm would not be up to standard. Chapter 561. The next day, Mu Qiqi saw that Feng Xianxian had changed her clothes. she said, I remember that you were wearing the same clothes the day before and yesterday. That's not your habit. I didn't go to the forensics lab last night and I didn't ask you. You didn't go back the night before, right? What does it have to do with you? Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes at Mu Qiqi. I really thought that you were not interested in Officer Tang. But I guess you were together the night before yesterday, right? Feng Xianxian was shocked when she heard that. How did you know? There's a smell on Officer Tang's body. It's a kind of wood fragrance. I can smell it when I get close to him. You have the same smell on you too. I just didn't expose you at that time. So, either you went to his house or you were very close to him. Don't think too much. I just stayed over the night before yesterday, Feng Xianxian said angrily. Who asked me to have nowhere to go? If I had a choice, I would rather go to the professor's house or your house than his house. You've already gone there. Why are you telling me this now? Mu Qiqi couldn't help but laugh. I'm not a gossipy person. Actually, Officer Tang is really a good person. And I think I'm not the only one who knows. Anyone with a nose knows, including the professor. You're still talking about it. Although Feng Xianxian stayed in Tang Yan's house for a night, she really curled up on the sofa for the whole night. As for Tang Yan, he stayed in his study obediently and never came out. The two of them spent the night peacefully. The next morning, Tang Yan left her money for a taxi. He did not even let her see him. This man was at most not a bad person. But he was definitely not a good man. How's the case going? There's no new evidence and we haven't confirmed the identity of the mysterious man. But there's news about your second sister-in-law's case. After the paparazzi recruited the man, the police arrested the man yesterday and interrogated him. They found out that his assets were all illegal income. The man couldn't stand the interrogation and finally confessed. The police should bring the lady of the Hu family here for questioning soon. Mu Qiqi thought that when this matter was over she would really have to thank the captain properly. Mrs. Hu had been on tenterhooks at home for the past 2 days, because she didn't know whether she could take care of herself. In fact, if she hadn't been so obvious, Mu Qiqi wouldn't have noticed her at the entrance of the police station, and Mu Qiqi wouldn't have called Xing Bowen to remind him. She only had herself to blame for everything. The police successfully got the evidence from the man that Mrs. Hu paid the murderer at that time, as well as the recording that the man handed over. Now that the authenticated material evidence was present, the police immediately ordered to go to the Hu family to arrest the murderer. However, when the police came to the door, Papa Hu was very surprised. What are you doing? Xiao Hu, the police are investigating a case and need to bring your wife back to assist in the investigation. It's about 2 years ago she paid a hitman to kill your daughter. Mrs. Hu was shocked when she heard that. She didn't expect that the case would be found out so soon. Old Hu, I don't have it. Help me, I don't have it. You'll know when you go to the police station. Take her away. Since there was an arrest warrant, the evidence was conclusive. Mrs. Hu was immediately taken to the police station. At the same time, Papa Hu called Hu Ran. Xiao Ran, the police are here to arrest someone. Really? Hu Ran was so happy that she almost cried out. Then Dad, wait for me. I'll go to the police station now. Come. I'll wait for you at the door. At this time, Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian were not at the police station. After Mrs. Hu was arrested, she was directly locked in the interrogation room for interrogation. At first she refused to admit that she paid the hitman to kill Hu Ran. But when the police took out the recording of the hitman's phone call, the line of defense in her heart completely collapsed. Papa Hu and Feng Xianxian waited at the door until the interrogation was over. Then the captain of the criminal investigation team walked to the father and daughter and said to them, Miss Hu, I heard from Mu Qiqi that you really want to find evidence to accuse your stepmother of being the hitman. Actually, you could have called the police earlier. Hu Ran's eyes turned red when she heard that. After I got into the car accident, that woman even asked someone to find a chance to attack me in the ward. I just pretended to be stupid and escaped. When Papa Hu heard that, he said to her helplessly, It's all my fault. You've been wronged so much. Dad, she's really very cunning. No matter how cunning she is, she's still caught, isn't she? Don't worry. The law will give you an explanation. But now the suspect wants to see you. Do you want to see him? Papa Hu nodded without hesitation. Of course I want to see him. Then the police arranged for Papa Hu and his daughter to enter the interrogation room. Old Hu, help me. I don't want to go to jail. I really don't want to. Papa Hu sat on the chair and was silent for a few seconds. Then he said to the vicious woman, "The thing I regret the most is meeting you. I know that you're not very friendly to Xiaoran, but as long as you don't hurt her I can tolerate you. But I didn't expect you to do so many evil things behind my back. Old Hu, because you said that as long as you have a daughter we don't want other children. This was the condition for you to enter the Hu family. Because I have to be fair to my daughter. I've already broken my oath as a father and let you into the family. But I didn't expect you to be so greedy." The woman opposite him cried so hard that her makeup was ruined. She looked very miserable. "Old Hu, I won't dare to do it again. Save me please. Why don't you beg Xiaoran instead of me?" Hu Ran didn't say anything until she met her stepmother's urgent gaze. "You know very well that I can't save you and I can't spend money to hire a lawyer for someone like you. You should go to jail and experience what it means to live a life worse than death." "Xiaoran, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Don't be so ruthless to me. You know you're wrong now because you've been arrested. The evidence is conclusive," Hu Ran said to her. Hu Ran said to her, "I really have to rejoice because from now on I'm finally free. Let me ask you, did you collude with Gu Xiling? Did you tell her that I'm allergic to honey?" The guilty woman was afraid of any interrogation at this moment. However, any flicker in her eyes was a tacit agreement to Papa Hu and his daughter. "I only hope that the court can give me a heavy sentence. For this I can do anything. Old Hu, you can't do this to me. It's true. I'm pregnant with your child. It's true, the woman said to Papa Hu as she clutched her lower abdomen. Chapter 562. So you've been guarding against me. The woman laughed mockingly and looked at her husband. "If you cared more about me and didn't set so many harsh conditions, I wouldn't have ended up like this." "You're wrong. You have more than anyone else but you're never satisfied," Papa Hu said. "If you think that my conditions are harsh, you shouldn't have agreed to marry me in the first place. Why did you not? Isn't it because of my money? Today is the last time we see each other. The police will sue you. After you go to jail I'll start the divorce procedures. I want you to have nothing. You can't even beg for death." After that, Papa Hu stood up with Hu Ran. "Xiaoran, let's go home." No, don't give up on me. No." After enduring 2 years of pretending to be a fool, this vicious woman finally got the punishment she deserved. When Hu Ran left, her eyes were red. "In the future I won't find you a stepmother anymore," Papa Hu said to Hu Ran when they left the police station. "Once bitten, twice shy. Dad, you're still so young. Why can't you find a stepmother? You can't lose trust in others because of this woman. But next time you must keep your eyes open. You and third young master, hurry up and have a child for me to play with. Then I won't be lonely." Hu Ran blushed, but she felt relieved. She had not expected to find out the truth of the matter. She had thought that the vicious woman would be able to get away with it. It was all thanks to the police and Mu Chichi. She would remember this kindness. In the police station, although the police had finished investigating Hu Ran's case, they still had no clue about Shenqing's case. The mysterious man made the police look for a long time. In the end, the captain decided to give it a try and handed the photo to Hu Ran's stepmother. "Do you know the man in the photo? Since this woman was an old fox in the entertainment industry, she might be able to reveal something that the police did not know. If I can tell you who this man is, will you reduce my sentence? It depends on your performance. You have no choice now." The woman looked at the photo for a long time and thought for a long time. Finally she said to the police, "If I'm not wrong, this person should be the CEO of Huayu Entertainment, Xianxia. How many tens of % do you have?" 70. The woman replied, "Although he disguised himself very well, he has a very serious O-shaped leg. That shouldn't be wrong, but Xianxia has an older brother. The two brothers look very similar. You've finally done something good." After that, the police immediately started an investigation on Xianxia, including what the forensic doctor had mentioned earlier. They wanted to see if he knew any martial arts or boxing. In the afternoon, when Hu Ran returned to the hospital, she told Grandpa Sheng about what had happened. But as she spoke, her eyes fell on Gu Xiling from time to time. "Thanks to Chi-Chi's help, I got justice for the car accident 2 years ago. My stepmother is now locked up in the police station. I really didn't expect that Madame Hu, who looks so elegant and generous, was just pretending." Grandpa Sheng sighed. "You're lucky. You don't have to be afraid in the future. I still will. Because my stepmother did something good for me. She told me something about someone plotting against me. So I still can't let my guard down. Hu Ran was implying something. In fact, she was lying to Gu Xiling. After all, Gu Xiling had admitted to the honey incident herself. Of course, how could the old man not understand the meaning behind her words? When she first came to the Sheng family, she was sent to the hospital with broken glass. She was hurt all over because of Gu Xiling. Would she not bear a grudge? That would be strange. You're the daughter of the Hu family now, and the Gu family has changed. If you want to deal with me, I won't be able to fight back at all. Moreover, our husbands have switched identities now. Third brother is the CEO, and what is my husband? If you really want to admit defeat, show me how you want to admit defeat. Second sister-in-law, I will make it clear today. If you continue to do something shameful behind third brother and my back, I will not be polite to you anymore. Just like what you said, you don't have the Gu family as your backing now. I will definitely put you first, Gu Xiling said calmly, because she knew that she had to endure the humiliation now. Otherwise, Sheng Kai would not be able to make a comeback. You better be like this. Grandpa Sheng saw that the two sisters-in-law were not on good terms, but he could not persuade them. Because this was the debt second brother and his wife owed. What about Huang Yao? Because Xing Bowen had become the CEO, the eldest young master of Tiffany & Company had officially announced the resumption of the cooperation with Huang Yao. Such a big crisis had been resolved, and the board of directors was very satisfied with Xing Bowen's performance. But whether he would become the second Xing Kai was still to be seen. Xing Bowen had become the CEO, but his secretary was still the one assigned by Xing Kai. She knew that she should retreat, but Xing Bowen did not let her leave. It's the same no matter who it is. As long as you do your job well, I will let bygones be bygones. The secretary was very surprised. If it were Xing Kai, he would have fired her immediately. But Xing Bowen could still tolerate it. Xiao Xing, it should be more ruthless. But second brother and I are not the same, Xing Bowen replied. If there is nothing else, you can go out and do your work. Actually, second young master did not send me to monitor you. He sent me to seduce you. After Xing Bowen heard this, he smiled. That depends on your ability. You are too upright. You are not suitable for the business world. Whether I am suitable or not, you will know in the future. Xing Bowen did not explain further. He was very happy to know that Hu Ran's stepmother had been arrested. After the secretary left, he immediately called her. It's really good news. You don't have to be worried anymore. You really have to thank Xiaoqi. Third brother, I thank you too. Before this, Hu Ran had to stay in the Xing family because of her stepmother's threat. But now she no longer had any scruples. Could the two of them be together? Although Xing Bowen did not plan to change his wife, what if Hu Ran wanted to meet a better person? So after thinking for a moment, he said, if you want to go back to the Hu family, I can sign the divorce agreement for you. After all, you have just escaped from the Hu family. I don't want you to fall into the abyss of the Xing family. You deserve a better life. Chapter 563. It seemed that there was no need for Hu Ran to stay in the Xing family. Moreover, she and Xing Bowen were just a couple in name. However, when Hu Ran heard this, she did not feel very comfortable. She knew that third brother was a kind-hearted person. But when she thought about it, was she that unworthy of a man's pursuit? Moreover, in her most difficult time, Xing Bowen did not despise her for being a fool, and still married her. Couldn't she stay by Xing Bowen's side and go through thick and thin with him? In Xing Bowen's heart, was she really not worthy of his trust? Let's talk about this later. Aren't we just celebrating the arrest of that woman today? Hu Ran changed the topic. Okay, let's talk about it later. But sooner or later, Xing Bowen would tell her sooner or later. In the evening, Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian went to the police station. At this time, the police were interrogating Xianxia. But this big shot in the entertainment industry was very difficult to deal with. He did not cooperate with the police at all. Even when the paparazzi had evidence, he denied that he had been to Xinqing's house. The police did not have any more direct evidence, so they could only let Xianxia go home. Professor, Captain hopes that the forensics team can do a more detailed examination to see if there are any more clues. Because Xianxia denied that it was him, the police have done a related investigation on him and found out that Xianxia is physically weak and lazy. He rarely goes to the gym, let alone martial arts and boxing, which are high-intensity physical skills. What about his brother? Mu Qiqi asked. His brother is still abroad. On the night Xianxia died he was also abroad. He has a perfect alibi. The professor nodded. Then we can only look from the beginning to the end and see if we can find any more clues. The police are under a lot of pressure. After all, the victim is a celebrity. What about Huang Fu? Didn't you ask her about the situation? These two people only know how to talk from afar. Huang Fu only knows how to make groundless accusations. She's even worse than us. It seemed that this matter was really troublesome. They did not find anything related to Xianxia in the victim's house. Could it be that the man was not Xianxia? The few of them turned Xianxia's body over and over again, but the conclusion was the same as before. Forget it. We won't be able to find any new evidence today. You two can go back first. The professor said to Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianshan, aren't there any exams recently? You guys aren't in a hurry. It was nearing the end of the semester, so of course there would be exams. So, aside from coming to the police station, Mu Qiqi had to study when she got home. As for Feng Xianshan, Mu Qiqi shifted her gaze back and forth between Tang Yan and her. The two of them had stayed in the same room for one night. Why did they look as if nothing had happened? The professor saw her gaze and smiled. Tang Yan, you've had guests recently, haven't you? There's a woman who stayed the night. What's wrong? Tang Yan said. You're really expressionless. In any case, he didn't plan to have a long-term relationship, so why did he have to change his expression? Moreover, he had only done a good deed. Where was Feng Xianshan? He pretended not to know anything about it, as if he was listening to someone else's story. No matter how immature her friend was, she wouldn't bring her boyfriend home every day, would she? Unfortunately, she was wrong. Her roommate not only brought her boyfriend home today, but also let Feng Xianshan hear something she shouldn't have heard. I don't want to move to your place. Feng Xianshan still has the money she got from the Xing family. Isn't it great to eat and drink with rich people? Feng Xianshan did not expect to hear something like that. So she did not leave from the living room this time. Instead, she came into their sight openly. Xianshan, why are you back? Her roommate got down from her boyfriend's body in a fluster. I'm living with you. You should at least care about my sensory experience. I don't want to watch erotic movies in the living room. Can't you leave a clean place in my house? Feng Xianshan fired at the other party directly. Also, I do have money. But you won't be able to use a single cent, Xianshan. Pack up and get out of my sight. Feng Xianshan crossed her arms and said. However, her roommate's boyfriend hit Feng Xianshan from behind. He hit her on the head with an ashtray. After Feng Xianshan fainted, he said, why don't we just take her money? Her roommate was scared out of her wits. She watched as her boyfriend found the wallet in Feng Xianshan's bag and room. Then they ran away. The next day, Feng Xianshan did not come to class. Mu Qiqi quickly called her, but no one answered. Then she called the police station to confirm if she was in the forensics laboratory. No, she didn't come. Professor, can you trouble Officer Tang to go to her house and take a look? Now no one else had the time. Tang Yan was very impatient when he received the task. But he did not refuse. Instead, he found Feng Xianshan's house with ease. But he found that the door was unlocked. Tang Yan immediately pushed the door open and saw Feng Xianshan lying on the ground. He quickly went to help her. When he found that she was still breathing, he quickly sent her to the hospital. This woman's head was smashed when she went home. It seemed that social relationships were really complicated. When it was almost noon, Feng Xianshan finally woke up. She saw Tang Yan standing beside her with a sullen face. She asked, am I still alive? You're still alive. Who hit you? Feng Xianshan thought of last night. If she had known earlier, she would not have suffered that loss. In the end, she did not have a man by her side. My roommate and her boyfriend. Call the police. I'm going back to the police station. After saying that, Tang Yan was about to leave, but Feng Xianshan stopped him. In the spirit of colleagues, shouldn't you not leave just like that? Officer Tang, even if I'm a stranger, you can't leave me alone. I don't have any relatives by my side. Feng Xianshan almost fainted from anger. How could there be such a straight man like Tang Yan in this world? Don't you have a lot of friends? Forget it. You can go. I'll call Mu Qiqi. Feng Xianshan felt that even if Tang Yan stayed, she would die of anger sooner or later. However, although Tang Yan's words were a little mean, he did not really leave. He just looked unhappy. You're really troublesome. Chapter 564. In the afternoon, Xianxia took advantage of the lunch break to go to the hospital. She saw Xianxian and Tang Yan staring at each other. She did not go in to disturb them because she felt that such a scene was not bad. After Tang Yan left the ward to rest, Xianxia appeared at the door of the ward. Did someone seek revenge on you? In your heart do I only have so many enemies? Xianxian glared at Xianxia. You know that I have many friends. You have so many friends. Why were you smashed? Forget it, I won't joke with you anymore. You're injured now and can't go back to the apartment. What do you plan to do? Don't you have any relatives you can contact? I have the huge sum of money I got from the Xing family. Which of my friends and family won't have designs on me? Xianxian sneered. So I often think that it's no wonder that rich people like you never make friends with poor people. You're also poor. How can you be my friend? Xianxia glared at her. At this time Tang Yan came back. When he saw Xianxia it was as if he had seen his savior. Since you're here I'll leave first. Officer Tang, I'm going to class right away. I just came to take a look. Xianxian is so seriously injured that she definitely can't go to class. I might have to trouble you again. Xianxia quickly said, please help her. She's a girl and alone. It's indeed dangerous. Then what do I have to do to make it not dangerous? Tang Yan could not help but ask. Xianxian could take care of herself after some observation. It was just that she had nowhere to go. She could not stay in the hospital forever. Having a place to stay, not to mention taking care of her, at least I won't have to worry about her safety. Then you can go. Tang Yan said directly because he had already planned to handle Xianxian's hospitalization procedures after Xianxia left. Then he would throw her into his house. That would be safe, right? Then I'm really leaving. Before Xianxian could figure out what the two of them meant, they had already left the ward. When Tang Yan came back he had already gotten the hospitalization procedures. Let's leave the hospital. Where to? Where else can you go? Aren't you going to continue to trouble me? After that he carried Xianxian up from the bed and brought her back to his house. He threw her on the sofa and said, you can take care of yourself now. I'm going back to the police station. There's food in the fridge and new toiletries are at the bottom of the wardrobe. Other than that don't touch my other things. Then he left. Xianxian looked at Tang Yan's house again and felt a little helpless. Because she was not as lucky as Xianxia, who had a complete family and so many people who adored her. She was alone in this place. Her parents had divorced and remarried. She didn't even know where they were now. Other than the fixed monthly allowance, she almost forgot that she was also raised by her parents. Now that her friend had betrayed her, it might be the punishment for her previous absurd life. Although Xianxia really wanted to help with Xinqing's case, she could not do much other than perform an autopsy. She was not experienced enough. So, instead of going to the police station to have a headache, she might as well stay at home and do some revision. Now that Xianxian was injured, she had to take more notes. When Xianxia returned home, he was surprised to see Xianxia earlier than him. The case has been solved? Xianxia shook her head. The clues are gone now. The people in the police station are worried. I can't help, so I came back to look at more cases. I could solve the complicated ones before, but now I can't solve the simple ones. Why are there 2 notes? Xianxia took off his coat and sat on the sofa. When he saw the 2 identical notes, he frowned. Xianxian was beaten up. She's in the hospital now, Xianxia answered naturally. I can't just watch and do nothing, can I? There's an annual cocktail party tomorrow night. Do you want to go together? Xianxia put down her pen and looked at her man. Of course. I can only be your female companion. Besides, there's no point for me to go to the police station now. It's almost the new year. There will be more social events this year. Just bear with it. What do you mean bear with it? I don't need to bear with it. I'm very happy, okay? Didn't Secretary he say that he would introduce sister-in-law to us? Xianxia did not show any impatience or dislike at all. These social events have nothing to do with your profession. I thought, I don't need you to be careful. I don't dislike it either. Whether it's a forensic doctor or a wife, I'm very happy. Xianxia reached out and hooked her arms around Xingzhao's neck. Believe me, I can take good care of everything. Although I know that my husband will be with me for a lifetime, I can't be too presumptuous, can I? Xingzhao chuckled and pushed her away. Continue reading your case. I'll go change. Actually, it's quite boring to read these cases. Why don't I help you change? Muchichi blinked. When Xianxia saw that, he immediately grabbed her collar. What a magical little thing. That was what Muchichi thought. No matter how focused she was on something, she could not forget the premise. Who gave her such a relaxed environment to do what she wanted to do? Xiao had taken the responsibility of taking care of the Shun family from her shoulders. If she was still stingy with her efforts, wouldn't she be hurting the person she loved the most? However, although the two of them said that they were going to change their clothes, in fact they had to exercise in the cloakroom. Young people had good stamina. They could fire at any time and anywhere. As for the police station, they were sorting through the case again. After 2 or 3 days, the public was talking about it. However, the police could not find any clues about one suspect. It was really amazing. Late at night, Tang Yan returned home and saw Feng Xianshan sitting in the living room watching TV. He asked her, "Have you eaten?" "Yes. I saw that you have noodles in the kitchen, so I made a bowl for you. You can eat it if you're interested. If not, just treat it as my supper." After hearing that, Tang Yan walked to the kitchen and saw the steaming noodles on the table. He tried taking a bite. He did not expect it to taste good. "I didn't expect you to know how to cook. I've lived alone since I was young. What can't I learn?" "I don't know how to cook," Tang Yan said naturally. "I don't like it." "Give it a thumbs up. I'll pay your rent." Feng Xianshan lay on the sofa and said, "How's the case?" "There's still no progress," Tang Yan replied. "You're injured, so there's no need to ask so much. I'll sleep in the study. You can help yourself." Chapter 565. Late at night at the hospital. The old man still had to stay in the hospital for a few more days, but Xing Bowen and Hu Ran were keeping watch at the hospital tonight. After Xing Bowen proposed a divorce, Hu Ran did not mention it again, but the two of them could not help but feel awkward. Hu Ran was afraid that Xing Bowen would get along with Grandpa Xing because the two of them had become much closer recently. Hu Ran was afraid that Xing Bowen would accidentally tell others about their decision. If that happened, it would be irreversible. "You should go back and rest. I'll keep watch here. Aren't you tired of working during the day and keeping watch at night?" Xing Bowen looked at Hu Ran and shook his head. "I'm afraid that you'll be in danger if you stay here alone. Eighth Brother's men are here. What are you afraid of?" Hu Ran pushed him. "Go back. We don't need you here." Xing Bowen was helpless. Because he had a regular meeting tomorrow morning, he surrendered. "I won't stay here. I'll go to the hotel opposite the hospital. That way if you need me I can come to you as soon as possible. Is that okay?" Hu Ran blushed, but she nodded. "Then why aren't you going?" Grandpa Xing saw the awkwardness between the two of them. He guessed that the young couple had not gotten into the mood yet. Xing Bowen was in charge of the Xing family now, so Xing Kai had a lot of time to drink and get drunk. Gu Xiling was angry and wronged when she saw this. "Are you planning to give up on Huang Yao completely? Look at yourself in the mirror. You don't have any fighting spirit at all. You don't look like a man." Xing Kai sat up from the bed drunkenly and pointed at Gu Xiling. "You don't scold me all day. I have my pride too. A man's dignity is earned by himself, not given by others. Xing Kai, Grandpa is urging us to have a child as soon as possible. What do you think we should do?" Gu Xiling planned to make everything clear at this moment. "Then let's have a baby," Xing Kai answered unnaturally. "Why are you still pretending? There's something wrong with your body. How can I have a baby?" Gu Xiling crossed her arms and sat on the edge of the bed. Xing Kai frowned and grabbed Gu Xiling's clothes. "When did you peek at the documents I locked in the cabinet?" "Do I need to peek? For half a year we never used contraception. I even deliberately nourished my body, but I couldn't get pregnant. So I went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said that everything is normal. Since I'm normal, do I still need to say who the problem is?" Gu Xiling said angrily. "My body is fine. You're still trying to be brave. If you don't cooperate with me and go to the hospital for a test tube, then you'll never have a child. When third brother's child is born, you'll only lose more opportunities." Gu Xiling patiently explained the stakes to him. "Think about it yourself." Xing Kai had always felt humiliated in front of Gu Xiling. This was because men were most afraid of having problems in that area. They would be criticized by others and even their own women would look down on them. "I can't accept it, especially if word of this gets out. I'd rather die." Xianxia suddenly woke up and sat on the bed. He looked very dispirited. I don't know how things turned out like this. If you're not willing to be a deputy CO and you don't accept the fact that you're infertile, then don't even think about making a comeback in this life. Have you ever thought that Xianxia had to endure more than half a year of ridicule from others? With his character, he's flexible. Can't you do the same? If you're sure that you want to live like this, then I, Gu Xiling, am completely blind. Xianxia was in great pain, and it was difficult for him to accept that he had suddenly fallen from the clouds and was exposed as infertile. Give me some time. I need time. Just tonight. If you continue to be so dispirited, then we'll be forced into a corner in the end. Having said that, Gu Xiling turned around and went to the study. She planned to leave the entire space to Xianxia. If he still couldn't understand, then Gu Xiling felt that there was no reason for her to persist. The second half of the night in Jianchuan was spent in a storm. Hu Ran did not like this kind of weather, because she did not know if Xing Bowen's embrace was still her harbor. Feng Xianshan, who was also betrayed by her friends and homeless, was also woken up by the thunder. She sat up in the dark and took deep breaths. Then she turned on the lights in the living room. Unexpectedly, Tang Yan was alarmed. Scared? When Feng Xianshan saw him coming out of the study, she shook her head unnaturally. It's just that the thunder is too loud. I can't sleep. Just admit it if you're scared. There's nothing shameful about it. Tang Yan went to the kitchen and poured a glass of water. He also warmed a glass of milk for Feng Xianshan. How long have you been alone? When I was very young, Feng Xianshan replied. What about you? 7 or 8 years old. My parents died in the hands of kidnappers. Since then I've been alone. Tang Yan leaned against the sofa and answered while drinking water. No wonder. His EQ was so low. Feng Xianshan held back the second half of her sentence and did not say it out loud. So, you trained yourself to be so strong and became a police officer? It's getting late. Go to sleep. If you're afraid, you can turn on the lights or lie by the fireplace. It will reduce your fear. Tang Yan refused to answer her personal questions, and Feng Xianshan consciously did not ask further. It turned out that both of them had fallen from grace. This man's life was more tragic than she had imagined. At least her parents were still alive. Therefore Feng Xianshan decided to hate him less in the future. After all, it was not easy for him to not grow up without his parents' education. Then she wrapped herself in a blanket and sat by the fireplace. Sure enough, when she saw the fire, she was filled with hope and was not so afraid anymore. More importantly, she knew that there was a very strong man in the study, which made her feel very safe. Because of this, Feng Xianshan suddenly had a bold idea. Since Tang Yan was also living alone, could he rent half of the house to her? However, she quickly dismissed the idea because Tang Yan seemed to be a loner and did not want to be involved with anyone. It would not be easy to convince him. It seemed that she would have to work harder and see if she could get Tang Yan's approval by cooking. Chapter 566. When he saw Hu Ran curled up on the sofa in the ward, he walked in quietly and sat down beside her. Hu Ran suddenly woke up and looked a little shocked. I was worried that you would be afraid, so I came over to accompany you. Xing Bowen took off his coat and put it on Hu Ran's shoulder. Sleep. I'm here. At that moment Hu Ran felt her entire body warm up. Xing Bowen made her feel how precious it was that a man was willing to give her a reliable shoulder to rely on. Why would he want a divorce when things were already like this? Fool. The next day, Banyan Courtyard. Xiao received a parcel from the United States. It was the marriage registration certificate for him and the little one. With this certificate, he and Mu Qiqi could truly be considered to have successfully registered. What is this? Mu Qiqi came over to take a look. When she saw that it was a document that she had signed, she immediately blushed. I only received it now. Why are you blushing? Didn't you say that we're already an old couple? Xiao held the document and could not help but laugh at her. Getting married at the age of 20 makes it seem like I'm worried about marriage. Of course I have to blush. Mu Qiqi covered her face and said. Who wanted to eat me up when they were 17 years old? Mu Qiqi glared at Xiao. He might have to brag about this for the rest of his life. So what if she liked him first and pursued him first? The law did not say that a girl could not pursue a man. Thinking of this, Mu Qiqi felt at ease. She hugged the marriage certificate in her arms. If you bully me again, I'll tell Mom and Dad. You don't have to. Mom and Dad are on your side. Early in the morning, the two of them stood in the courtyard and started kissing intimately. It was not until Mama Xing ran into them when she went out that she saw them. Two damn children. Don't you know how to be careful? It's so early in the morning. I'm going to school. Mu Qiqi was even more embarrassed when she saw that Mama Xing had seen her. She returned the marriage certificate to Xing Xiao and got into Su Chei's car. Xing Xiao put away the marriage certificate and followed. Mama Xing smiled. The old couple had seen such a scene many times. They were very pleased because their son and daughter-in-law had such a good relationship. She did not ask for anything else. After getting into the car, Xing Xiao became serious. At 5:30 in the afternoon, Su Chei will pick you up at school. He will bring you a dress. I know. I won't forget. Mu Qiqi replied, giving him a peck on the cheek before she got out of the car. She was already a wife, but she was still so shy. Jianchuan was clear after the rain. Sheng Kai spent the whole night thinking. The next day he returned to his usual glamorous self. He planned to go to work at Huangyao after breakfast. After all, he was still the deputy CEO. Seeing him pull himself together, Gu Xiling was relieved. You won't be able to endure it for too long. There's still a long way to go. However, about the child, let me think about it and make preparations. No matter how anxious I am, there is no need to rush this moment. I can still wait for a few days, Gu Xiling replied. Go to Huangyao. Be patient. Since I'm ready to face it, I've already guessed it. You don't have to worry about it. However, Sheng Bowen did not expect Sheng Kai to pull himself together so quickly and appear at the Huangyao regular meeting. Because of Sheng Bowen's character, Huangyao's previous aggressive state had to change. He was more focused on building a solid foundation instead of rushing to expand. This was different from Sheng Kai's management philosophy. One pursued stability while the other liked to take risks. Of course, Sheng Kai had no say now. Huangyao now had to listen to Sheng Bowen's arrangements. Because the VVIP night of Huangyao was approaching, Sheng Bowen thought of Mu Qiqi's amazing plan last year. This year he wanted to ask Mu Qiqi if she had any new ideas. After all, everyone had higher expectations for the VVIP night of Huangyao now. However, now that Mu Qiqi was a forensic doctor and was very busy, Xing Xiao probably would not agree. After the regular meeting, Sheng Kai returned to his office. However, on his way back he heard many people talking about him. I can't believe he still has the face to be the deputy CEO. Huang Yao was ruined by him before. Isn't that so? Fortunately, third young master is in charge now. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen to Huang Yao. Xing Kai pretended not to hear it. When he was about to leave, Sheng Bowen appeared behind the employees. Aren't you busy with work? You still have the time to gossip? The employees were shocked. When they saw Xing Bowen, they quickly dispersed. However, Sheng Kai did not appreciate Xing Bowen's help at all. I didn't beg you to do this. I helped you not because you are my second brother. It would be the same for someone else. After that, the two brothers walked past each other. Sheng Kai really hated Xing Bowen's arrogant character. Now that he was in power, it was as if everyone had to be taken care of by him. Did he think he was a god? Did he come to save the refugees? Sooner or later he would tell Xing Bowen the terrible consequences of excessive kindness. In the afternoon in Xingting. Because Feng Xianxia was not in school, Mu Qiqi suddenly felt a little lonely. She wondered how Tang Yan's family was doing now. She made a notebook for her. The exam was coming soon. Although they could not be considered best friends, they were no longer in a tit-for-tat relationship like before. The two proud people could be considered to appreciate each other to a certain extent. Feng Xianxia had actually guessed that Mu Qiqi was really a saint in some aspects. It should be said that as long as Mu Qiqi treated someone as a friend in her heart, she would definitely treat them very seriously. However, she now hoped that Tang Yan could accept her suggestion and give her a small corner of the house. For this reason she woke up very early to cook. Although she did not see Tang Yan, at least Tang Yan left with breakfast. This was a kind of confirmation in disguise. She did not know if it would go smoothly when she mentioned this matter to him at night. Feng Xianxia did not call. Mu Qiqi thought that she was very comfortable and happy, so she did not pay too much attention to her. After all, she had to accompany Xiao to the banquet tonight. Of course, she would not have guessed that she would see someone at the banquet. Someone who made her feel very suspicious. The banquet started at 7 in the evening. Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao only arrived at the banquet venue at around 6:50. Go in and sit for a while. Try to finish before 8. After Xianxia kept a low profile, he did not really like such occasions. He preferred to talk and laugh with like-minded people. Chapter 567. After entering the banquet, the happiest thing for Mu Qiqi was seeing Xing Minglan and Jing Yun. Xing Minglan was pregnant, so she looked even softer and had the radiance of motherhood all over her body. It was really not easy. Thinking about how difficult it was for the two of them to be together, Jing Yun was going to be a father in the blink of an eye. Shao Qi. In fact, Xing Minglan felt that Mu Qiqi had changed a lot. She had seen this girl on TV most of the time except when Jing Yun went to Zhongting to negotiate. He seemed to be able to surprise people every time. Why are you so far away from me? I stay with corpses all day. I'm really afraid that I'll affect you, Mu Qiqi said to Xing Minglan. Isn't there a similar saying? It's better for a pregnant woman to stay close to a blessed man. Are you not lucky? Xing Minglan glared at her. Not only are you lucky, but you are also full of righteousness. Seeing that their woman had a companion, the two men looked at each other and walked among the guests. Knowing that Xing Minglan was pregnant, Xianxia was not in a hurry. He held a glass of champagne and clinked glasses with Jing Yun. I didn't expect you to be ahead of me in becoming a father. You have to work hard, Zhou Xian. Jing Yun said with a smile. Xianxia glared at him. He knew that the little one was only 20 years old and could not have a child. Still, it fully showed how much Jing Yun was looking forward to becoming a father. Xing Minglan saw Xianxiao's gaze through the crowd and said to Mu Qiqi, "It seems that eighth brother is very envious." Mu Qiqi did not understand. Xing Minglan stroked her belly. The hint was obvious. Mu Qiqi blushed. It's still too early for us. That's why I said that eighth brother is envious. We will have one too. It's just a matter of time. Just thinking about it, Xing Minglan felt that if Mu Qiqi could have a child one day, she would definitely be the darling of the Xing and Shen families. Then she thought of eighth brother's face that showed off everywhere after having a child. She could not help but laugh. What's wrong? It's nothing. Mu Qiqi turned around and was about to say that she should go to the buffet area to get some food. She could not let a pregnant woman starve. But when she passed by the red wine area, she saw a man in a dark green suit. He had a very typical O-shaped leg, and his figure was very similar to the man who went to Shen Qing's house in the photo taken by the paparazzi. Xing Minglan noticed her expression and asked, "What's wrong?" That man just now. Mu Qiqi beckoned to Xianxia, who was nearby. Soon her man came to her. "What? Xiao, do you know that man?" Mu Qiqi asked, pointing at the man in the red wine section. "The person in charge of Hua Yu Xialin. He's Xianxing's brother," said Xianxia. "Why? Is it related to your case?" The police had interrogated Xianxing, but they didn't get anything out of him. Moreover, his brother was overseas at that time, so they didn't pay much attention to Xialin. However, when Mu Qiqi saw him today, she had a strong feeling that this man was not an outsider to Shen Qing's matter. Of course, it was impossible to rely on intuition to investigate a case. "Then, do you have any contact with that Xialin?" "I can only say that I know him." Then Xianxia pinched Mu Qiqi's nose. "Even if you have doubts in your heart, you can't show it on your face. Do you want others to see it and be on guard against you?" Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment. Then she quickly replied, "I know. I'll be careful next time." "He won't run away. We can just investigate after the case is over. Xiao, do you know anything else?" Mu Qiqi looked at the teasing smile on the man's face. She was a little expectant. "Or do you not like me to talk about this in such an occasion? Let's go back and talk about it. That depends on what you want to know." Then Xianxia pointed at his cheek. It was obvious that he was hinting at something. Mu Qiqi leaned forward and kissed him. Only then did she ask with a clear conscience, "I want to know if he knows martial arts or... I don't know anything else. I only know that he is good at golf and baseball. I've met him a few times." Baseball. Mu Qiqi suddenly thought of Shen Qing's injury. "Are you here to attend a party or to investigate a case?" Xing Minglan couldn't help asking her. "You're already so serious now. What will happen in the future?" After listening to Xing Minglan's words, Mu Qiqi put away all her questions and returned to her normal self. "It's just a coincidence." While they were talking, Xialin came to Xianxia and said, "It's been a while." "It's been a while." I'm here to ask if your wife has any complaints about you, because I think the way she looks at me is a little strange. Xiaolin was very direct. He looked at Mu Qiqi with a complicated gaze. Mu Qiqi coughed softly and answered, I'm just surprised that you and your brother look so alike. Little girls are always curious about the world. I'm often confused by her unconventional thoughts. You don't have to worry about it, Xianxia. Xianxia quickly shielded her. All right. Let's play golf together when we have time. Xiaolin did not ask further. But this man was very observant. After that he turned around and left. Xianxia turned around and looked at Mu Qiqi. I think you won't live past the second day if you become a criminal police officer. Luckily you're just a forensic doctor. I thought you could handle things on your own. Is this how you act in front of me? I still have this bit of self-awareness. Mu Qiqi said impatiently. Don't worry. Before Xinqing's case is solved, I won't go anywhere alone. I'm a coward. I'm a coward because I have to worry about my lover. Xing Zhao's face was not as black as before when he heard what the little one said. However, Xiaolin must have sensed something. After all, Mu Qiqi had appeared on TV before. In order not to leave her doubts to the next day, Mu Qiqi called the professor after the party ended. Xie Yingxing's brother, Xiaolin, also has O-shaped legs. He also plays baseball and golf. The people from the police station are investigating this person's social relations, said the professor. Because Tang Yan found a detail in the paparazzi's photo. There is a scar on this person's neck. Xie Yingxing doesn't have that scar. How cunning. He deliberately covered it up from every angle. Tang Yan used a magnifying glass to look at it for a long time before he found that. Chapter 568. It doesn't matter. It's not our job anyway. The professor laughed. Not bad, Xiaoqiqi. You actually saw the murderer at a cocktail party? It's just a coincidence. Mu Qiqi stole a glance at Xing Zhao's expression. Not daring to continue chatting with the professor, she hung up. This isn't the way home, is it? Where are we going now? The hospital. Although it was two simple words, Mu Qiqi understood that Xing Zhao wanted to see Grandpa Sheng. But when they arrived at the hospital, Xing Zhao went straight to the office of Grandpa Sheng's doctor. Chief Sheng, I'm sorry to trouble you to come here. With the help of the specialists you've invited, we've found out the real reason Grandpa Sheng fainted twice recently. It's because of this tumor hidden in his brain. Xing Zhao watched as the doctor handed him the CT scan. But Xing Zhao did not take it. He did not think that he could understand it. Is it diagnosed? The doctor nodded. Moreover, there's a possibility of metastasis. There's a 70% chance that it's malignant. What's the treatment plan? We're worried that he might not be able to handle such a major surgery at his age. The location of the tumor is really not optimistic. However, at the latest tomorrow, after I've consulted with the specialist, I'll tell you a few feasible plans. When that time comes, it'll be up to your family to decide. There was no obvious change in Xing Zhao's expression, but Mu Qiqi knew that while her man appeared to be ruthless and unforgiving with his words, he was the most sentimental of people. With Grandpa Sheng sick, the other brothers of the Sheng family were either thinking about Huang Yao or the inheritance. But Xing Zhao had found a specialist. Of the two who were once at odds with each other, Xing Zhao was the first to know about Grandpa Sheng's illness. Mu Qiqi very naturally held Xing Zhao's hand as if to comfort him. Xing Zhao knew what she was thinking and so put Mu Qiqi's hand into his pocket. So he did not come to the hospital to see Grandpa Sheng, but to hear the diagnosis from the doctor. Come up with a treatment plan as soon as possible. I want him alive. When Xing Zhao said those words, Mu Qiqi could clearly feel the seriousness in his words. The doctor looked at Xing Zhao's expression and finally nodded. We will do our best. After that, Xing Zhao brought Mu Qiqi home. However, Mu Qiqi was not as talkative as usual, which Xing Zhao was not used to. What's wrong today? Today I seem to have gotten to know my husband again. Mu Qiqi could not help leaning into his arms. I always felt that you hated the old man from the bottom of your heart. For me, you stood against him and left the Xing family so resolutely. I always thought that you no longer have a grandfather in your heart. But I knew that you lost your temper 2 days ago, and seeing you here today, I know that you actually care about your family very much. If you didn't care about your family, you wouldn't have been attracted to the Xing family in the past. You wouldn't have complained either. Xiao, it's not embarrassing to say it out loud. In front of outsiders, you act like a high and mighty god, but in my heart, you also need 7 emotions and 6 desires. You need love and companionship. Do you regret being with me after seeing me like this? Xianxia caressed Muqiqi's hair again and again. Why should I regret it? I love you even more because I know that my man has a big heart. Although Xianxia and the old man were incompatible on the surface, Muqiqi could understand the softness in his heart. Xianxia hugged the little one tightly. He did not dote on her for nothing. Although the old man was hateful and he didn't want to forgive him, since he knew about this he wouldn't sit back and do nothing. Otherwise wouldn't he feel guilty? Feeling bored staying in the hospital, the old man asked who ran when he could be discharged. Coincidentally, the attending doctor was doing his rounds and told the old man, "Keep him under observation for 2 more days. Otherwise we won't help you if you faint again. You doctors only know how to cheat money. I'm perfectly fine. Why would I need to stay in the hospital?" The doctor smiled at that. "Old mister, you're right to listen to me." The old man did not struggle. After all, Huang Yao was managed by 3rd brother and there were other people in the family. He did not need to worry. "Then I'll stay for 2 more days. You can't stop me if there's no problem. Old mister, you have to remember that you have a good grandson." The doctor said meaningfully and left the ward, leaving the old man and who ran confused. However, the grandson the doctor was talking about was obviously not Xing Kai. He rarely came to the hospital and made a fuss the moment he came. It was unlikely that it was Xing Bowen. But he had been dealing with things in Huang Yao for the past 2 days. The old man guessed that it was him, but he was afraid that he would be disappointed. However, just because of this he was willing to stay for 2 more days. Tang Yan returned home in the early morning. But Feng Xianxian was still waiting for him in the living room. "Have you eaten?" Tang Yan shook his head. "I don't have time to eat." "Then I'll heat it up for you." Having said that, Feng Xianxian got up from the sofa and went to the kitchen. Soon she came to Tang Yan with the delicious food. Tang Yan frowned. He did not understand why she was so attentive all of a sudden. So after sitting down at the dining table, Tang Yan looked at the food and did not eat. Instead, he leaned on the table and asked Feng Xianxian, "What are you up to now?" Feng Xianxian was surprised for a moment and then smiled. Tell me. Otherwise, I really can't eat this meal." Feng Xianxian lowered her head and thought for a moment. Finally, she said, "Look at such a big house. It's quite lonely living alone. It's time-consuming to clean it and no one will cook for you. Why don't you give me some space? I'll take care of the housework and 3 meals a day. What do you think? I won't live for free. I'll take care of everything and pay rent." Tang Yan lowered his head in silence. After listening to her, he only answered, "No." "Why?" Feng Xianxian asked. "I won't trouble you, you're already troubling me," Tang Yan said coldly. "I don't like people wandering around in front of me and affecting my thoughts. Moreover, I've been staying in the study for the past 2 days. It's very uncomfortable." Feng Xianxian did not expect Tang Yan to reject her so quickly and straightforwardly. Although she was a little depressed, she felt that it was understandable. Chapter 569. Alright then. I've been bothering you for the past 2 days. Since you don't like it, I'll pack up later and leave tomorrow morning, said Feng Xianxian. It's up to you. Then Tang Yan stood up from the dining table. Feng Xianxian was dumbfounded. You ate it, didn't you? Did I poison it? Tang Yan thought for a while and sat back down. Feng Xianxian knew that he was embarrassed, so she did not want to torture him anymore. His sweat could really suffocate a person to death. In fact, Feng Xianxian was more or less mentally prepared. It would be strange if Tang Yan, who was not a compassionate person, agreed. He did not like to trouble others and he did not want others to trouble him. However, Feng Xianxian noticed that the house next to Tang Yan's small courtyard seemed to be abandoned. If she could buy it and become Tang Yan's neighbor, she would not have to worry about safety, and she would not have to worry about causing trouble or disturbing him. Thinking of this, Feng Xianxian curled up on the sofa and fell asleep. When the time came, she would also buy a sofa like this because it was comfortable enough to sleep on. Tang Yan buried his head in his meal and did not pay attention to Feng Xianxian. When he was about to go to the study, he saw that Feng Xianxian had already fallen asleep on the sofa. In the past, he never felt guilty when he rejected people because he did not think that he would beg others for help. If he offended them, then so be it. However, he did not know why he felt a little guilty when he rejected Feng Xianxian. This was something he had never felt before. Feng Xianxian was betrayed and had nowhere to go. Logically speaking, as a man he should help her. However, he did not want to have anything to do with others, especially in his personal life. He did not want another person to distract him. Unexpectedly, Feng Xianxian did not act pitiful or pester him. The next day she really packed up and left his house. When Tang Yan went out, he suddenly felt worried because he actually thought about where else could Feng Xianxian go. Was that something he should be concerned about? Thinking of this, he was even more annoyed. He rode his motorcycle and left the house. Xielin's interrogation was not smooth either. This man was even more cunning than Xianxia. He insisted that he was abroad when Xianxia died and it was impossible for him to kill someone in the country. Now that the police could not find more evidence, they could only watch as Xielin was released. What happened between Xianxia and Xielin? What secrets did the two of them have? Why couldn't they find any clues in Xianxia's house? Tang Yan was troubled by this, so he did not have the mood to care about Feng Xianxian. He also wanted to use work to completely forget about this matter. What about Feng Xianxian? He appeared to be carefree and not worried about where he would go next. When they arrived at school, Muqiqi saw that Feng Xianxian had actually come to class. She asked her, "Where have you been these 2 days? Didn't you smell my scent? Why are you still asking when you already know the answer?" Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes at Muqiqi. Officer Tang probably wants to be a bachelor for the rest of his life. He's really hard to describe. You took off your clothes and seduced him. Feng Xianxian continued to stare at Muqiqi. "Although I can have fun, I don't like to have sex. I just suggested renting his house and I will pay for his meals and housework. But he still rejected me without hesitation. Do you know? He did not hesitate at all." Muqiqi could not help but laugh. "He is single because of his ability. What can you do? What are your plans after this?" "Thanks to Grandpa Xing's blessing, I have money to buy the house next to Tang Yan. This way I don't have to worry about my safety anymore." Muqiqi could not help but raise her hand and give her a thumbs up. "You're amazing. This is the sorrow of being alone." I heard that after Xielin brought him back he refused to admit it. The police's lead was cut off again. The only hope now is to crack Xianxing's computer. But I don't know if the information in it can be recovered. Muqiqi sighed. Such a big case. Everyone knows that he is the murderer, but they can't do anything to him. I used to think that this kind of thing only happens in TV dramas. Just wait for the news. Feng Xianxian took the notebook and could not help but smile. "Do you know? I want to be your enemy all the time. It's hard for me to do this. We are still enemies." While they were chatting happily, someone unexpectedly sent Muqiqi a package. Muqiqi opened it and saw a real human palm inside. It was dripping with blood and the students around her were so frightened that they scattered. Feng Xianxian and Muqiqi, however, were very calm. They looked at each other and smiled. "Someone dares to threaten you? Looks like he wants to know how powerful Xiao Xing is." But Muqiqi did not want to joke about it. "Doesn't this mean that the person is guilty? Shall we go to the forensics lab tonight?" Muqiqi shook her head and said to Feng Xianxian, "You go alone. I have something to do at home." She did not forget that she would go to the hospital with Xianxia tonight to listen to the results of the consultation. Although the old man had humiliated her, he was sick now. He would not be able to live for long. What was there to hold a grudge? In fact, when the doctor asked him to stay in the hospital, Grandpa Xing had more or less guessed that the reason for his fainting was not simple. So when Hu Ran and Gu Xiling were not around, Grandpa Xing went to the doctor's office alone. "Doctor, there's no one else now. Tell me the truth. I don't have much time left, do I?" The doctor looked at Grandpa Xing's eyes and knew that he was an understanding man. He said directly, "Yes, it's a tricky disease. But it's not completely hopeless. I understand now. Let's leave it to fate. This old man has never been afraid of anything in his life. Old sir, you should be more optimistic. I'm having a consultation with the specialist today because your grandson asked me to come up with a treatment plan. If you don't come, I'm already on my way to see him." "Which grandson of mine?" "Look, other than the one who doesn't get along with you, who else?" "Eighth young master Xianxia." Grandpa Xing was silent for a while. Then he asked uncertainly, "Is he trying to make me die early or something?" Chapter 570. Grandpa Xing followed behind the doctor and saw Xianxia, Mu Qiqi and the specialists in the consultation room. Then the attending doctor walked in and put all the plans in front of Xianxia. Chief Sheng, I believe that the specialists have told you about old Mr. Sheng's condition. And after our discussion, we suggest that you persuade old Mr. Sheng to undergo surgery as soon as possible. The success rate of the surgery is 35%. The current situation is still optimistic. If it continues to be delayed, it will be too late when the tumor metastasizes or the cells spread. Then the surgery will be meaningless. What about the surgery plan? Xianxia asked. There are 2 plans for the surgery at the moment. One is to go abroad. At the moment, the equipment abroad is more advanced. But in terms of this kind of surgery, I still trust the local doctors more. The 2 chances are almost the same. This needs to be weighed by the family members. This is the first time I heard that a 70% chance is considered high. Xing Zhao's voice was a little cold. Chief Sheng, we doctors also hope that every patient can recover. But humans are so small in front of diseases. We can't do anything but try our best. Xianxia looked at the plan and finally put it in front of the doctor. You said that the local doctors are more skilled. The specialists you invited also agree with this. Also, the patient needs to agree to the surgery. And there are so many people in the Xing family. Do you want to tell them? If I tell them, can the surgery still be done? Xianxia asked the doctor. Xing Kai and Xing Bowen would have to fight many times. Moreover, the Xing family had their own thoughts. It was unknown whether they wanted Grandpa Xing to recover or not. Tell them. Then I will think of a solution for the patient, said the doctor. I hope you will do your best. Grandpa Xing really did not expect that Xianxia would come to the hospital for a meeting with the doctors for his sake. Obviously, Xianxia did not want to see him. But just as the doctor said, not wanting to see him did not mean that he did not care. After Xianxia and Xing Bowen left, Grandpa Xing went to the doctor's office. Did you see it? Grandpa Xing nodded. I just didn't expect. He didn't expect that his grandson, who was always against him, was the one who cared about his health the most. And those people who usually spoke well of him were now eyeing his inheritance. Old Mr. Xing, that is why you have to make a choice. With that, the doctor placed the treatment plan in front of Xianxia. Now you need to nod and agree. When the old man saw the surgery consent form, he didn't think too much and wrote his name on it. You won't even consider it? I trust Xianxia. It's just that I don't want anyone else in the Xing family to know about my surgery, especially my other grandchildren. Doctor, before this, I hope you can cooperate with me. I want to leave the hospital and find an excuse to come back. Old Xing did not want second brother and his wife to know about this. Otherwise, who knew how much they would plot against him? The doctor thought about it and nodded. Go ahead, I'll just cooperate. Among all his children and grandchildren, only the 8th one was sincere to him. But in the past he had done so many things to hurt his 8th brother. He had pushed his grandson away with his own hands. After coming out of the hospital, Mu Qiqi received a call from Feng Xianxian. The information in Xinqing's computer has been recovered and decoded. And in her encrypted files, there are photos of her and Xielin together. Aren't you coming to the police station to participate in such an exciting moment? Mu Qiqi turned to look at Xianxia. Although she was excited, she did not hesitate and said, since everyone has found the evidence, I have nothing to do with what happens next. Just tell me the results when the time comes. Feng Xianxian nodded. Mu Qiqi nodded. All right. We'll talk about it in class tomorrow. Mu Qiqi wanted to go, but she wanted to stay by Xing Zhao's side. Xing Zhao put his arm around Mu Qiqi's neck. He did not want to let go of her now. He just wanted to hug this little one. Are you going to tell Dad and Mom? Xing Zhao shook his head. There's no need to let more people know about this. As long as he did it quietly, it would be fine. That old man probably didn't want to alarm others, especially those who had a deep obsession with his legacy. What if the surgery fails? Xing Zhao did not say anything. He just hugged Mu Qiqi tighter. We'll talk about it when the time comes. I'm afraid that Xing Kai's family will make a big fuss. Not to mention even 10 Xing Kais can't do anything in front of me. This was Xing Zhao's confidence. At this moment, Xielin was brought back to the police station for interrogation. They found a lot of photos of them in Xinqing's computer. Officer, what can this prove? If you suspect that I killed her, you should show me the evidence. Xialin said very calmly. You have to be clear. When Xinqing died, I was abroad. If you have evidence, come and arrest me. If not, I advise you not to keep wasting my time. Otherwise, I will file a lawsuit against you. The colleagues in the interrogation room felt very uncomfortable, because this man was really too cunning. He did not fall into any trap. Seeing this, Tang Yen felt that he had to find new evidence. That was why was Xialin abroad when Xinqing died? If he could figure this out, everything would have an answer. However, when Tang Yen left the police station and was about to ride his motorcycle, he saw Feng Xianxian at the entrance of the police station. At first he did not think about this woman for the whole day. He did not have any burden in his heart. But Tang Yen felt that when he saw Feng Xianxian at this moment, all the psychological hints in his mind were broken. So he rode his motorcycle to Feng Xianxian. Where are you going? I'll give you a ride. No need. You can go. I bought a car myself. Feng Xianxian took the car key and shook it at Tang Yen. It seemed that she did not need him at all. Have you found a place to stay? Yes. Feng Xianxian nodded. Thanks to you. That's good. After that, Tang Yen rode his bike and left the police station, leaving Feng Xianxian alone in confusion. Was this man so kind to her? Chapter 571. That night, when Tang Yen returned home, he was eager to know where Feng Xianxian had gone. Didn't they say that her friends could not be trusted? Didn't they say that she had been living alone since she was young and had no family? He was the one who rejected Feng Xianxian. But strangely, he was the one who could not let go of Feng Xianxian. That feeling made him feel strange and anxious. He did not know what was wrong with him. So he went to the bathroom to take a cold shower in the winter. But when he returned to the kitchen and saw the kitchen utensils that Feng Xianxian had used, the worry that he had just suppressed floated to the surface of the water like a feather falling into the lake. How would he know that Feng Xianxian was packing her things next door? However, Feng Xianxian did not want him to know. So she planned to miss his working hours and go out. Otherwise, it would be very awkward if they met. The next day, the doctor announced that Grandpa Xing was fine and could be discharged. Xing Bowen specially arranged a comfortable car to pick him up from the hospital. The doctor and Grandpa Xing agreed to only give him 2 days to go back to the hospital for surgery because his condition could not be delayed. Grandpa Xing nodded in agreement. He planned to go home and arrange a good show where his good friend came to visit him. Then he would go straight to the hospital for treatment. When they returned home, the Xings behaved themselves. Even Xing Kai went back to work seriously. He was willing to submit to Xing Bowen and be the vice president of Huang Yao. He swallowed everything. After Xing Bowen took office, he handled the matters of Huang Yao very well. Even if he was not smart, he knew how to make use of his strength, which was to win people over with virtue. A large number of radicals in the company didn't like Xing Bo's scholarly style of doing things, so they secretly contacted Xing Kai. Because if Xing Bowen became the CEO, they would have no benefits to speak of. They wouldn't be able to get any benefits. On the surface, Xing Kai did not accept anyone's invitation. But in their hearts they knew that Xing Kai could not be picky at this time. At lunchtime, everyone was very obedient. Grandpa Xing chuckled. Then he put down his bowl and chopsticks and said to everyone, "Grandpa Song called me late last night and invited me to the Song family to rest for a few days. Anyway, I need to rest now, so I agreed to his invitation and will leave tomorrow afternoon." "Which Grandpa Song? The antique collector?" Xing Bowen asked. "Yes, it's him." The old man nodded. "Let the butler accompany you. Pay attention to control your emotions," Xing Bowen instructed. At the side, Gu Xiling looked at the old man. She couldn't help but have some doubts in her heart. This was because the Song family that the old man was talking about was also friends with the Gu family. However, this family had already moved to Iceland a year ago. They weren't even in the country at all. How could they possibly invite the old man over? What was the old man planning? After lunch, Gu Xiling called her mother and asked her to confirm the matter of the Song family. However, Gu Xiling's mother told her that the family had not come back since they emigrated. Gu Xiling was sure that the old man was hiding something. Otherwise, why would he hide it from his family? In order to get to the bottom of this, Gu Xiling decided to follow Grandpa Xing tomorrow to find out what was going on. In the afternoon, Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian rested in the library of Xingting University. It was clearly such a sacred place, but there was a little girl gossiping in such a place. Xianxia couldn't stand it anymore. She walked in front of the two girls and said to them, "This doesn't seem to be a suitable place for you to discuss which celebrity has cheated on you and who has hooked up again." The two girls glanced at Xianxia and felt a little uncomfortable. They closed the gossip magazine and got up from their seats to leave. Xianxia looked at the cover. It was actually Xianqing. She called out to the two girls, "Leave the magazine." The two girls handed the magazine over in a silly manner and quickly left the library. Xianxia returned to her seat with the magazine and handed it to Mu Qiqi. "This issue has Xianqing's previous interview. What's the use? It's impossible for her to return to the magazine and remind us who killed her and where the evidence is." Mu Qiqi glanced at the cover of the magazine. Although she said that it was useless, her hands still flipped through the pages uncontrollably. When she saw the lines of the interview, she suddenly frowned. Xianqing said that the kind of people she envied the most in her life are the paparazzi. Shouldn't it be hatred? Xianxia looked at the magazine. She also mentioned that she has a good relationship with the paparazzi in the circle. Thinking of this, Mu Qiqi immediately took out her phone and searched for news about Xianqing. She found that there were very few negative news about her. Of course, it was compared to Huang Fu. If the paparazzi Cui is really helping Huang Fu to keep an eye on Xianqing, how is it possible that Xianqing did not expose any scandals? I still feel that the paparazzi is very suspicious. Xianxia was also bored. She went to look for news and videos about the paparazzi. She looked at them one by one. Because she also felt that there was a secret between Xianqing, Xialin, and the paparazzi. Although the police had found the photos of Xianqing and Xialin. Mu Qiqi, I actually want to investigate the ancestors of this paparazzi. Because I found this. Xianxia passed the phone to Mu Qiqi. She went to the paparazzi's Weibo and found his alternate account. She followed the alternate account and found the profile picture that the paparazzi had used before. It was a photo of him with a woman. Although it was not very clear from the outline, it was not difficult for them to see that it was a fat version of Xianqing. They looked at each other and then got up from the library. The time they spent looking at the photo should be about the same as when they were in high school. So they quickly found the location of the paparazzi's high school. They rushed there anxiously only to find that Tang Yan was also in that school. "You also found something unusual?" Tang Yan glanced at them and continued to look for the photos in his hand. "I went to the civil aviation department to confirm it. Xialin did go abroad a few days ago. But on the afternoon of Xianqing's accident, he flew back to Jianchuan with a private jet. The people from Huayu made a fake certificate. But even so, Xialin still insisted that he did not kill Xianqing that night. He also did not see Xianqing. He even clamored for the police to show him the evidence. So, I think that perhaps the paparazzi and Xialin know something about each other, but they are hiding it for each other." Chapter 572. Because of this. Xianxia took out her phone and showed it to him. Xianqing and the paparazzi used to be a couple in school. Tang Yan searched through the photos and found Xianqing, who was a little fat, in the graduation photo album. After that, the three of them found the homeroom teacher at that time to understand the situation. Only then did they know that the two of them were in a relationship at a young age. Xianqing was fat at that time and many people despised her. Only the paparazzi liked her and was willing to be with her. In the photo they also saw the paparazzi exercising. So Mu Qiqi asked, "Is this man very fit?" "Of course. His father used to run a Muay Thai gym in his early years. Although I have never seen him practice, his physical fitness is amazing. He has always been #1 in sports." After understanding the situation from the school, the three of them felt very complicated. Xialin was Xianqing's lover and the paparazzi was Xianqing's first love. What kind of entangled love triangle was this? It was really annoying. So, when you are in a relationship you have to be wholehearted. Xianqing's situation is the most likely to lead to a love killer. Mu Qiqi sighed. Relationships are troublesome. Tang Yan said these 4 words naturally. No, he felt that the root of all this was greed and love. Xianqing is asking for too much. You're asking for nothing. Xianxia could not help but stare at him. Officer Tang, although love is not as good as you think, it is not as bad as you think. Mu Qiqi saw the two of them arguing because of this matter. She could not help but stand aside because she felt that she was like a third wheel now. I can't understand women. I beg you, don't understand women. I really don't want anyone to be so unlucky. The two of them bickered and left the school where the paparazzi and Xianxia used to study. This should be a great help in sorting out the case. And from the paparazzi's mouth, they should be able to say something that the police did not know. At night, the two of them came out of the police station. Muqiqi saw her man's car parked quietly at the entrance. She turned and asked Feng Xianshan, "Have you bought a house?" "Of course, but it is not suitable for people to live in yet." "Then where are you going tonight?" Muqiqi raised her eyebrows. "Are you going to your friend's house?" "The police are still looking for the two scumbags who escaped. They took away all my cards except for the one where I really saved my money." "I don't know how stupid they are," Muqiqi said disdainfully. "I'll go to that house and sleep for a while. It shouldn't be a problem. Tang Yan is just next door anyway. I won't worry about it." With that, Muqiqi opened the door of the black car and sat beside Xiao. Xiao's eyes were half closed. When he felt her leaning against him, he said to Su Che, "Let's go." Feng Xianshan watched Muqiqi leave and quickly went home before Tang Yan left. She did not want to bump into him. This man really had no EQ at all. He was destined to be single for the rest of his life. Feng and Qing he Xiaoyan, Qing. He has, Lin is. Qing. She has Qing had no. Is. S. The more you wish for something to happen to them, the less likely it will happen to them. Xiao squinted at the little one. "Besides, who asked you to worry about one couple after another? Are you a matchmaker or a matchmaker? Is it that obvious that I'm playing matchmaker?" "Idiot." After cursing, Xiao closed his eyes. "You should write it on your forehead." Thinking about Qing, Muqiqi told Xiao about the complicated relationship. "I can't imagine how I would feel if a woman fought with me for you. First of all, that woman has to dare to approach me. Not all women are like you, barging into my arms." Xiao pinched her little ear and said, "That's right. You're the only one who dares to approach me. That's why I'm lucky." Muqiqi sighed. She hugged Xiao's arm tightly. Xiao did not talk to her, but he smiled. The little one was naughty, but she knew her limits. He was close to him. Muqiqi would look for him if he did not see her for more than 5 minutes. It was precisely because he could still feel her love so strongly that Xiao would let her go out and do whatever she wanted. He would spoil his woman no matter what. Late at night, Grandpa Xing was safe and sound at home. Sheng Bowen thought that Grandpa Xing was fine, so he decided to face his relationship with Hu Ran. But when he returned to his room, he saw Hu Ran standing behind her. He wanted to say something but stopped. "Do you have something to tell me?" Hu Ran asked. Sheng Bowen nodded. Then he took out the signed divorce agreement and put it in front of Hu Ran. "I've thought about it for a long time. Everything is fine in the Hu family now. You're not in danger anymore. So I think you can choose the life you want. After all, our relationship is too strange. We might not be able to get into character. So I'll keep the divorce agreement for you. If one day you think it through and want to leave the Xing family, just sign it. I won't blame you." Hu Ran's face darkened, because she did not expect that this silly man would really prepare the divorce agreement. "I won't sign it. Since I'm married, I don't plan to divorce," Hu Ran said seriously. "Xiao Ran, it's late. Go to sleep." Hu Ran was afraid that he would insist, so she turned off the lights in the room and lay on the bed. "I'll put it on the dresser." "Do you really want to divorce me that badly?" Hu Ran was a little discouraged. "I've already said that I won't sign it. Don't you understand? I just hope that you'll think it through. Don't think about others anymore. Or do you not like me at all? Do you like another girl and want me to make room for her? If that's the case, I can fulfill your wish." Hu Ran's chest heaved up and down. It was obvious that she was really angry. Sheng Bowen sighed and silently put away the divorce agreement. "I only have you by my side. There's never anyone else." "Then don't say anything." Hu Ran shouted at him. "I think my life is good now. There's no need to change. I'm very willing to be the wife of the CEO of Huang Yao. You have to let me live a happy life, right? I've suffered all these years and finally married a good man. Are you going to beat me back to my original state so soon? Do you think I'm a good man?" Chapter 573. Late at night, the police station was still interrogating the paparazzi. This time Tang Yan also entered the interrogation room. No matter how the paparazzi made up a story, he was not moved at all. He just watched the paparazzi perform. When the paparazzi was done, Tang Yan asked, "Are you done?" "Officer, I've told you many times that I didn't kill Xianxia. Is it because you can't find the mysterious man so you always bully an honest person like me?" Tang Yan did not say anything else. He just said to Tang Yan, "Do you know that your fingerprints are enough for the police to charge you? How much more do you want to act in front of us?" "No, officer. This is the interrogation room, the police station, not your entertainment industry." Tang Yan roared. The people in the interrogation room were stunned. They could not help but tremble. "We don't have time to act with you. Tell us about the love triangle between you, Xianxia and Xialin." Tang Yan printed out the photos of the paparazzi and Xianxia and placed them on the table one by one. "You've led us to investigate that mysterious man again and again. In fact, your father owns a boxing gym. That mysterious man is physically fit and plays baseball very well. But a few days ago, Xiaolin's right arm was dislocated. So it's impossible for him to cause such serious internal injuries on Xianxia's body. Can only be you. You and Xianxia used to be classmates and have been lovers for so many years. You tried your best to protect her, but you did not expect that she would become the lover of a big shot in the entertainment industry. You held a grudge against her, so you killed her and framed Xialin. You are a paparazzi and Xianxia is a superstar. How can you be worthy of her? Look at how beautiful Xianxia is. But what about you? If it were anyone else, they would not give up Xialin and choose you." "Enough." The paparazzo suddenly clenched his fists and yelled, "I've had enough. I've forgiven her countless times. Every time she would say that she had broken off all relations with that man. But every time I would catch her in bed. I've had enough." At the same time, the other police officers also found the weapon he used to hit Xianxia in the paparazzi's rented house. "This case has been dragged on for so long. This scumbag is really patient." Everyone in the police station was relieved to be able to solve the case. When Tang Yan walked out of the police station, it was already 2 in the morning. Love? What kind of thing was it that could make someone so addicted to it that he would do such a terrible thing just because that woman betrayed him? Tang Yan could not understand the paparazzi's anger, and he did not want to understand it at all. Why couldn't people be solitary animals? Why must they get married? But for some reason he could easily think of Feng Shanshan at this time. With a woman in his head, of course he was annoyed, so he tried to calm himself down. However, no matter how many cold showers he took, his body temperature would not go down. What the hell? At this time, Feng Shanshan was camping in her small courtyard. Looking at Tang Yan's house, the lights were still on. What time was it already? Was this man not going to sleep? The next day, Mu Qiqi heard that the case had been solved. The murderer was the paparazzi, and it was all because of Xianxia's betrayal. Therefore, the love game was also a dangerous game. "That old man is going back to the hospital for surgery today, right?" Mu Qiqi asked Xing Xiao during breakfast. When Mama Sheng heard this, she frowned. "Which old man? What surgery?" Xing Xiao glanced at Mu Qiqi and explained to Mama Sheng, "A friend's father. I thought it was that old man from the Xing family. I knew it. A scourge lives for 1,000 years. How could something happen to him?" Mu Qiqi knew that she had said the wrong thing, so she did not continue the topic. She shrugged at Xing Xiao. Fortunately, Mama Xing did not continue to ask. After they got into the car, Mu Qiqi said, "I talked to my parents about everything, so I am not prepared." "Most of the time your mind is thinking about corpses." "Wrong. Most of the time I am thinking about you, and a small part of the time I am thinking about corpses." Mu Qiqi corrected her. Then she said, "I have no classes in the afternoon. I will go to the hospital. It is weird to leave that old man alone." "Aren't you afraid of quarreling with him?" "I will definitely not let him. At most I will just hide a little," Mu Qiqi said. "Go to Zhongting with peace of mind. I know that secretary, he has a dinner today. I will take care of Grandpa Xing." Xing Xiao patted Mu Qiqi's head and could not help but sigh. "You have finally grown up. You can be entrusted with important tasks. Bah, this is called going to war on behalf of your husband. I will let Su Che follow you." "No need. You need Su Che more. He has another role. He is to help me monitor you and see if you dare to do anything." Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi as if she was an idiot. "Don't forget that Su Che is my man. Men are indeed all big pig trotters." In the afternoon, Grandpa Xing packed his things as if he was going to stay at a friend's house. But Gu Xiling saw it the whole time. From the moment Grandpa Xing left the house, she quietly followed behind him and watched as the housekeeper accompanied Grandpa Xing back to the hospital. When Gu Xiling arrived at the hospital, she did not leave immediately. Instead, she watched Grandpa Xing change back into his hospital gown and lay on the bed to rest. Was Grandpa Xing seriously ill and did not want the rest of the Xing family to know? Gu Xiling guessed. She could understand Grandpa Xing. But when she took out her phone and was about to call Xing Kai, she saw that Mu Qiqi had also arrived at the hospital and went straight to Grandpa Xing's ward. She almost thought that she had seen wrongly. But it was undoubtedly Mu Qiqi. Grandpa Xing hid it from the Xing family but told Xiao and Mu Qiqi? Thinking of this, Gu Xiling quickly made the call. Kai, I have something to tell you. Grandpa Xing did not know that Gu Xiling had followed him. But the moment he saw Mu Qiqi, his expression was a little unnatural. Mu Qiqi was the same. The two of them were silent for a while. It was the butler who broke the awkwardness. Miss Mu, please have a seat. I just went to the specialist. He said that the surgery is scheduled for tomorrow morning. I'm just here to take a look. I will come with Xiao later, Mu Qiqi said to the old man. Grandpa Xing did not say anything. He coughed softly. You should rest. I will leave first. You're not afraid of me. Why are you in a hurry to leave? The old man could not help but ask when he saw her turn around. Chapter 574. How refreshing. You should be the one who wants me dead, but now you are restraining yourself. The person who always said that she wanted him to be healthy was always provoking him when he was sick. Wasn't that the opposite? I don't agree with you, and I know that you still don't agree with me. You think that I am not worthy of Xiao. I don't care what you think of me, but you are seriously ill now. I have to endure it no matter how much I hate you. It is not too much to give a princess to someone like Xiao. Grandpa Xing laughed. So, I have tried my best to give him the best so that he can show his status and not be afraid of being laughed at by others. I think my grandson is 1 in a million. You have said so much, but this is the only one I agree with. Mu Qiqi snorted. But I am not bad. Although I am not as powerful as the princess, I am better than most of the young ladies in Jianchuan, am I not? You are confident. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. Of course she had that much confidence. Right, go back. I have a butler here. I don't need anyone to take care of me for now. This was the first time they talked so calmly, wasn't it? Then rest early. Mu Qiqi said politely and turned to leave the ward. It was only after Mu Qiqi left that Grandpa Xing laughed. This girl still has such a personality. She never acts according to common sense. He's really like 8th brother. Isn't she taught by 8th young master himself? The butler laughed too. But this girl who has always been against me is actually more reassuring than Xiao and his group. Grandpa Xing sat on the bed and laughed mockingly. Speaking of which, Gu Xiling is the one I chose. But what happened in the end? Gu Xiling saw Mu Qiqi enter the hospital and leave with her own eyes. She did not stop Mu Qiqi but told Xing Kai when she got home. Grandpa did not go to a friend's house at all. He went back to the hospital. He must be seriously ill, but he did not tell anyone in the family except Xiao. Xing Kai's eyes were full of disappointment when he heard Xiao's name. Grandpa still thinks of 8th brother. Grandpa is being too biased. It's fine if he's fine, but if something happens to him and no one from the Xing family is by his side, won't Xiao have the final say? Gu Xiling was indignant. I wouldn't be this angry if it was you, 3rd brother, or even 6th brother. But this person is Xiao. Did Grandpa forget how much Xiao hurt him? Let's go to the hospital to see what's going on tomorrow morning, said Xing Kai. What about 3rd bro and the others? Should I inform them? To think that 3rd brother would share everything with Xiao. But what about Xiao? 8th brother didn't even tell 3rd brother about Grandpa's illness. 3rd brother is the only idiot who still calls Xiao his brother. Then the two of us will go, Gu Xiling said. Even if Grandpa needs treatment or something else, we should be there. An outsider like Xiao shouldn't interfere with the Xing family's affairs. Xing Kai did not say anything. After all, didn't Gu Xiling always want to be Xiao's wife? Although the two of them had agreed to forget about that matter, it was still hard to bear when she really thought about it. Tomorrow she would go and see what Grandpa was playing. Could it be that all the descendants of the Xing family were outsiders and only Xianxia was his grandson? Night. It was as if it had just begun. Xianxia hired the workers to renovate the abandoned courtyard. After cleaning it, it finally looked like a home. Tang Yan, who lived next door, came back very early today. Xianxia felt very warm when she saw the lights next door. But she secretly used Tang Yan's sense of security. Was it too much? However, perhaps the courtyard had been abandoned for too long. It was not easy for the water to come out, but the pipe in the bathroom broke again. Xianxia looked at the water in the house and could only carry a repair box to the bathroom. Was it really because I was too bad in the past that I have to be punished by fate for the second half of my life? After living alone for a long time, it was inevitable that she would do some rough work. But if she slipped and fell, was this considered bad luck? Her head had just been smashed. Was she going to fall and hurt her feet now? Xianxia threw away the wrench dejectedly. She could not watch the water overflow, so she could only be thick-skinned and knock on the door next door. Tang Yan ordered takeout for himself and was thinking about Xianxia's cooking. Who knew that she would appear at his doorstep just like that? The pipe in my house is broken. I can't fix it. Can you help me? Xianxia looked inside and saw him eating takeout. She suggested, I can give you a meal as a thank you gift. Your house. It's next door, Xianxia said unhappily. This small courtyard is independent, but it's been abandoned for too long. If I wasn't in a hurry to move in, I would definitely renovate the inside and outside before moving in. Wait. After saying that, Tang Yan turned around to get the key and followed Xianxia out. When he entered the door and saw the scene of water overflowing, Tang Yan could not help but sigh. Clean the drain. The water flow is too slow. After saying that, his tall figure squatted at the broken pipe in the bathroom. Xianxia quickly went to deal with the drain. She wanted to save her carpet and other things, but they were all soaked. You're always so amazing. Xianxia said, shouldn't a person live in a hurry? Tang Yan did not answer. Instead, he stood up and took off his shirt. This made Xianxia swallow her saliva because Tang Yan was only wearing a military green vest at the moment. His body was strong and smooth. It was obvious that it was the result of long-term exercise. Male hormones, this was how they erupted. The pipe is fine for the time being, but we have to find a professional to repair it tomorrow. Moreover, your house is already so wet. Are you going to continue living here? After Tang Yan was done, he stood up. The six-pack under his pectoral muscles was really too obvious. I'm going to camp in the courtyard. It was like that last night. Tang Yan said, you're good. Was she still a woman? After saying that, Tang Yan picked up his coat. As he walked out, he said to Xianxia, pack your things and come over. Otherwise, you'll come over to trouble your neighbor again. To be honest, the house was so wet that it needed to be dried for a few days. Moreover, Xianxia really liked the fireplace in Tang Yan's house. As for Tang Yan, for some reason when he knew that Xianxia lived next door, his heart kept beating faster. Chapter 575. Xianxia did not stand on ceremony. She carried her things and went to Tang Yan's house with ease. Seeing that you are in so much pain eating takeout, let me cook for you. No need. I have finished eating. It was mainly because Tang Yan did not want to be alone with Xianxia anymore. Moreover, didn't Xianxia just hurt her foot? Even if he did not care about women, he did not have the hobby of abusing disabled people. Xianxia shrugged. It was best that Tang Yan did not need anything. So she went to the fireplace in Tang Yan's house. She lit a fire and warmed herself up. Late at night, the whole of Jianchuan was foggy. Xianxia brought Mu Qiqi to the hospital. Actually, he wanted to cheer for Grandpa Xing, although he did not say it out loud. The success rate was only 35%. If Grandpa Xing did not come down from the operating table, tonight would be the last time the grandfather and grandson would see each other. Because of this, Xianxia brought Mu Qiqi to the hospital immediately after he came out from the dinner. In the hospital, Grandpa Xing had just finished washing up. He was scheduled to have the earliest surgery tomorrow. Eighth young master, Miss Mu. The butler shouted. When Grandpa Xing heard the butler calling him eighth young master, he felt as if a lifetime had passed. When he looked up and saw the person in person, he was shocked. Why did you come at this time? To let you go to the battlefield with peace of mind tomorrow, Xianxia replied. The will should be ready. Eighth brother, if I really leave, can you promise me that you will come back to the Xing family? Grandpa Xing said to Xianxia seriously. I can't care about your private affairs. I just think that the Xing family should not be without one member. You can mention this request to me if you survive tomorrow, Xianxia replied seriously. Grandpa Xing laughed. You're still the same. Forget it. If I really can't come down, the Xing family will depend on you. You should just wait and see. I'm telling you clearly, if you can't make it through tomorrow, I won't interfere with the Xing family's affairs anymore. No matter what second brother does, you know that I will do what I say. Alright, you still have to wake up early tomorrow. You can go back now. Grandpa Xing understood what Xianxia meant. However, he did not want Xianxia to see him in a pathetic state. He had always been so domineering and imposing. He wanted to maintain his dignity until the end. As a matter of fact, he had endless things to say to Xianxia in his heart, but he could not bring himself to say them when they were on the tip of his tongue. When you're asleep, we'll leave. Grandpa Xing ignored the two of them. After taking the medicine, he lay down and closed his eyes. Xianxia and Mu Qiqi watched him until he fell asleep before they left the hospital. Actually, this old man also has a side to him that is worthy of admiration. Which old man would want to have his children and grandchildren by his side to take care of him at this time? He is still so tenacious. Stay in a hotel tonight, Xianxia said to her. It's just opposite the hospital. Mu Qiqi nodded. In fact, whether it was in the hotel or in the car, as long as she could stay by this man's side and accompany him through the trials and tribulations of life, it did not matter even if she had to suffer. Mu Qiqi never complained. As for Grandpa Xing, he only opened his eyes after the two of them had left. The butler stood beside him and comforted him. Master, you have to hold on. Although eighth young master never says what you like to hear, he wants you to live. You should know that very well. Even at this time he is still threatening me with Huang Yao. He is not comforting me in a way that I don't like. Even so, Grandpa Xing felt warm in his heart. If he was not sick, he would not have felt eighth brother's special care. The next morning at 7 o'clock, Grandpa Xing's bed was pushed into the operating room. Xianxia and Mu Qiqi stood on both sides of the bed and looked at Grandpa Xing. Old man, if you still want to see your Huang Yao, you better grit your teeth and hold on. Not a single good word. Even so, Grandpa Xing showed a rare smile. Eighth brother, I'm sorry. After saying this, he reminded the doctor that he was ready for the operation. Family members, wait outside. Don't worry, we will do our best. Seeing that Grandpa Xing was being pushed away, Mu Qiqi held Xingzhao's hand subconsciously. He had always looked calm, but at this moment his palms were sweating. The word surgery soon lit up. When it was 8 o'clock, Xing Kai and Gu Xiling drove to the hospital and saw Xingxiao and Mu Qiqi standing outside the operating room. Xing Kai was furious. He went forward and grabbed Xingzhao's clothes. Where's Grandpa? What did you do to him? Let go. Xingxiao uttered those two words coldly. I'm asking you, where's Grandpa? Are you blind? Xingxiao broke away from Xing Kai and tidied his clothes. Xing Kai looked at the door of the operating room and pointed at Xingxiao. You Xingxiao are just an outsider. What right do you have to stand here and decide everything for Grandpa? You were the one who wanted to leave the Xing family and Huang Yao. Now that Grandpa is in trouble, you don't even inform Grandpa's family and make the decision yourself? Who are you? Who are you? Do you need me to tell you why the old man is sick? Xingxiao was not that much taller than Xing Kai, but for some reason it felt like he was looking down on Xing Kai. Grandpa is just afraid that we will worry. He is afraid that you are thinking about the inheritance. Xingxiao exposed him. Even so, who are you, Xingxiao? You hid it from the Xing family and all of us to get Grandpa here for surgery. How would I know what you are planning? What if you want Grandpa to die? Not wanting to continue arguing with Xing Kai in such a place, Xingxiao gave Su Che a sharp look. Su Che got the signal. He walked straight to Xing Kai and pressed him against the wall to stop him from making a sound. If you don't know how to be quiet, I'll teach you to be quiet. Xingxiao, Kai is your brother. No matter what you do, you can't treat him like this. Gu Xiling was the one arguing again. I remember I warned you not to appear in front of me. You are holding Grandpa hostage. I'm going to call the police. Gu Xiling knew that she could not win against Xingxiao, so she put another accusation on Xingxiao. Muqiqi was so angry that she laughed. Now I'm sure that you are born with the ability to convict people. You know why Grandpa needs surgery. Why didn't you tell him? Why are you still pestering us? What's the use? Chapter 576. What else do you know apart from bullying others? Gu Xiling asked Muqiqi, clenching her fists. You, Muqiqi, have destroyed the entire Gu family. Are you still not satisfied? Still, Kai is Xingzhao's brother. Why do you have to be so ruthless? Isn't it enough to play with people's hearts to this extent? Muqiqi held her forehead after watching Gu Xiling's emotional performance. It was as if this person had been possessed for a long time. No matter what you did to her, she would always be immersed in a world where others wanted to harm her. A very kind suggestion from me. I think you should go for a brain checkup because I suspect that you are sick in the head. Muqiqi told Gu Xiling, pointing at her own head. Eighth brother, do you mean that you value the Xing family again by doing this? Xing Kai was held down by Su Che, but he was still reluctant. If that's the case, then don't pretend and come back openly. Don't play with people's hearts like this. You know very well how much hope grandfather has for you. If you have no intention of coming back at all, please correct your position. You are the CEO of Zhongting now, and everyone in Jianchuan knows that you abandoned grandfather and the Xing family on his birthday. What do you want us brothers to do to you? Yes, I admit that during this period of time I was almost blinded by power. However, is there no problem with your actions? If you were far enough from the Xing family and did not give third brother and grandfather hope, would the family become like this? Could you leave a last shred of dignity and survival for us mortals? You come and go as you please. You've never experienced how other people feel, have you? Xing Xiao told Su Che directly at Xing Kai's words. Let go. Su Che immediately let go at his command, allowing Xing Kai to regain his freedom. If you want me to leave, I'll leave now. Xing Xiao took Muqiqi's hand and walked to Xing Kai's side. Then he warned him sternly, but if anything happens to the old man because of you, I will make you regret being born. With that, Xing Xiao left the hospital with Muqiqi. Xiao, are you not going to wait for the old man to come out? If we stay here, the couple will only put on an endless act. It's not good for the old man's recovery, Xing Xiao replied. That's true. Muqiqi nodded. Even Rong Junhan is not as good at acting as Gu Xiling. She is really comparable to Mu Tongxue. Now that I think about it, the old man is really pitiful. He doesn't even have someone to take care of him. I know that third brother and third sister-in-law can't win against this woman. That's not necessarily true, Xing Xiao said meaningfully. I hope the old man will be lucky. Because of what Xing Xiao said when he sent him into the operating theater, the old man had been thinking about how many more years he could go through. Therefore, on the operating table, his survival instinct was very strong. It was not easy for him to endure such a major surgery at such an old age. However, what made the doctors feel gratified was that the old man was really a tough nut to crack. After 4 hours, the surgery was a complete success. However, when Xing Kai and Muqiqi heard that the old man had survived, their expressions were indescribably complicated. They could not tell whether they were happy or disappointed. The recovery period is very crucial. I hope that your family can take good care of him. At the same time, Xing Xiao received a call from the attending doctor of the hospital. Chief Xing, I can see that your brother is not very happy when he heard that the old man survived. Do you want to inform the other family members? They are already on the way. Thank you, doctor. Xing Xiao thanked him. A doctor should have the heart of a parent. But he is old after all. After such a major surgery, he might be unconscious for a while. But you don't have to worry too much. Xing Xiao informed third brother and the others in the Xing family. Soon the family came to the hospital. At the same time, they complained about Xing Zhao's behavior. The old man is in such a serious condition. How could eighth brother not tell anyone? This is too much. What if something bad happens to the old man? Won't our family know? We don't know what he is thinking. That's right. Fortunately, the old man is blessed. Something bad happened to him, what would happen to our family? After listening to them, third brother sneered. I can understand eighth brother's behavior. Otherwise, Grandpa's condition would have worsened by the time we are done discussing. Moreover, Grandpa used the excuse of going to a friend's house to come out voluntarily. Clearly, he did not want the family to know. Since it is his choice, why do you blame it on eighth brother? Moreover, eighth brother helped to find a specialist. What about you? Are you a Sheng or a member of Zhongting? The Sheng family started to make things difficult for third brother. Don't think that we can't do anything to you just because you are the CEO of Huang Yao. Hu Ran tugged at Xing Bowen's sleeve, reminding him not to argue with them. It would not end well. They were very good at turning black and white upside down. All right, Grandpa is not awake yet. Everyone keep quiet, Xing Kai said to the elders of the Sheng family. Third brother, I think your brother is doing a good job as the CEO of Huang Yao. You should return the position to him. Look at you. You don't have the aura of a person in power at all. All right, I don't mind. It's just that Tiffany and company will terminate the cooperation soon. Second brother just needs to fill in the loophole, Xing Bowen replied calmly. The other party glanced at Xing Kai and choked. Don't try to show off here. Grandpa's health is more important, Xing Kai reminded Xing Bowen. Third brother did not say anything. He understood Hu Ran's gaze. The hospital does not need so many people. You should go back first. When Grandpa wakes up I will tell you. Third brother, aren't you busy at the company? Xing Kai's meaning was self-evident. He wanted to stay here to take care of Grandpa Sheng. The others could leave. Then I will have to trouble second brother to be filial to us. Having said that, third brother left with Hu Ran. If they stayed until Grandpa Sheng woke up he would definitely make a scene again. Third brother, you must take care of the family well. Otherwise, when Grandpa wakes up he will continue to be tortured and destroyed by these people, especially second brother and his wife. They are so good at stirring up trouble. It will not be good for Grandpa's recovery. Grandpa is very conscious. Otherwise he would not come to the hospital for the surgery without telling anyone. Chapter 577. The first person Grandpa Sheng saw when he woke up was Xing Kai and his wife. There was disappointment in his eyes, but at least he got through it. That's right. That kid, eighth brother, would never wait in the hospital quietly. He was that kind of person. He didn't know how to play these emotional tricks. Grandpa, you're finally awake. We were so worried. Gu Xiling quickly went forward and asked about Grandpa Sheng's well-being. Are you thirsty? Do you want some water? Grandpa Sheng shook his head gently. He opened his eyes for a while, felt tired and fell asleep again. Seeing this, Xing Kai dragged Gu Xiling out of the ward and said to her, Now is the best time for us to win back Grandpa's heart. We must take good care of Grandpa and regain his trust. Are you sure Grandpa will listen to you? When a person is sick, the person he trusts and appreciates the most is the person who takes care of him wholeheartedly. Gu Xiling nodded and looked at Xing Kai. I understand. What about you? I want to make achievements and make up for Huang Yao's mistakes. Because he knew that no one would agree with third brother's way of doing things. So he could easily snatch that position from Xing Bowen's hands. Then go and do your work. Xiling, you've worked hard. As for the child, when Grandpa recovers we can try a test tube test. Today when he saw Xing Xiao and was warned by him, his pride had been stepped on by Xing Xiao. If he did not work hard to climb up he would only be a toy for the rest of his life. Gu Xiling was right. A man's pride had to be earned by himself. He did not want to be so muddle-headed anymore. He swore that he would become more ruthless than anyone else, even more ruthless than Xing Xiao. Late at night in Jianchuan was shrouded in thick fog. That night Tang Yan came home very late. Perhaps it was because he came home late, so Feng Xianxian really lit a fire in her little courtyard and set up a tent to camp. Because she had nowhere else to go. Tang Yan rarely walked out of his balcony. But when he saw Feng Xianxian playing with herself he could not help but throw something in her courtyard. Feng Xianxian saw it and turned to look at Tang Yan on the second floor. You're back? Is camping so interesting? It's my wish to go camping in the wild, but no one will go with me, Feng Xianxian said. Feng Xianxian said, I used to have a rich boyfriend but he only played games related to money. He didn't care about these games at all. Tang Yan did not listen to her nonsense. He went straight to the living room and took the key. Then he went back to the balcony and threw it to Feng Xianxian. Up, aren't you afraid that I'll be troublesome? Feng Xianxian tilted her head and asked. I'm afraid that you'll burn down the courtyard and implicate me, Tang Yan said in disdain as he drank the water. After Feng Xianxian turned off the fire and entered the room he said, Actually, you're just shameless. I used to be a delinquent, Feng Xianxian said disapprovingly. Tang. Xiao Yan Xiao and Xiao. Xiao. Tang. Did. What of? Tang. Xing. Tang. Pai. Tang Yan did not say anything. Instead he went to the study. It was easy for him to understand Feng Xianxian's past. He had heard from the professor that Feng Xianxian had been paid by the Xing family to monitor Mu Qiqi. She was a bad woman, but she was not completely bad. It made people feel 30% disgusted, 30% distressed, and the remaining 30% disdainful and 10% unable to bear it. All in all, she made people feel strange. Perhaps it was because she was living too real. The next morning, Tang Yan went out and found Feng Xianxian spraying perfume on herself. I don't like the smell of perfume. I know. But you don't want others to misunderstand our relationship, do you? Feng Xianxian explained. This perfume can effectively cover up the smell of wood in your house. Otherwise, do you think I'd want to wear it? Tang Yan did not say anything. He just took the helmet and went out. What about Feng Xianxian? In fact, she was not as calm as she thought. He would be confused. She was only here to stay, but for some reason last night she had the crazy thought of looking for Tang Yan to comfort her. Was it really because she was too lonely? After spraying this perfume, the house would be ready tomorrow. She had to go home and maintain a relationship with Tang Yan. And was there anything else to believe? Except for the rare breed in Mu Qiqi's house. The next morning, Banyan courtyard. Xianxia and Mu Qiqi went out together. However, Mu Qiqi planned to go to the hospital to see old Master Xing first. At least she wanted to know if he had woken up. However, there were bodyguards following them in the car. In order to prevent that woman from the Gu family from quarreling with me when I get to the hospital, I've prepared bodyguards first. If she speaks, I'll shut her up. Seeing this, Xianxia could not help but laugh. You're quite flexible. I'm not a good person. Mu Qiqi snorted. I'm from an orthodox family. The value of my existence is to make people like Gu Xiling tremble. Xianxia hooked his arm around her neck and kissed her thin lips. Remember to call me when you're out. Don't worry. The reason why the little one was in a hurry to go to the hospital was because she was afraid that Xianxia would continue to worry. In this world, no one understood his heart better than the little one. Soon, the two of them arrived at the entrance of the hospital. Mu Qiqi directly brought the 4 bodyguards to old Master Xing's ward. When Gu Xiling saw this, she frowned and questioned her. However, before she could speak, the bodyguard behind Mu Qiqi directly stepped forward, covered Gu Xiling's mouth and brought her out of the ward. She should have done this a long time ago. She should have dealt with that bitch like this. Old Master Xing had already woken up. He watched helplessly as Mu Qiqi threw Gu Xiling out. I was afraid that arguing with her would anger you, so I threw her out. It's not that I can't argue with her, Mu Qiqi said to Old Master Xing. Mu Qiqi said to Grandpa Xing. Xiao and I were just outside the operating room yesterday. But later the Xing family came, so we left. Now that you're so energetic, Xiao can rest assured. Brother, when you're better, go and see him yourself. I won't pass the message to you. Mu Qiqi sat in front of the bed and said, as for the Xing family, it doesn't matter if you can stand it or not. Anyway, your health is more important. Was this girl worried that his health would be affected because he was angry? Chapter 578. If that was the case, she had underestimated him too much. Anyway, you know very well who's a human and who's a ghost among your grandsons. You should be on guard against them. Old Master Xing thought to himself that if he hadn't just had such a major surgery, this little girl wouldn't have had the chance to teach him how to handle things. But when he thought of the reason behind her, Grandpa Xing could not hate Mu Qiqi. Which granddaughter-in-law did not remind their family to live in harmony and trust them. But she, on the other hand, was on guard against them. Let's go. If he kept listening, he would probably hear Mu Qiqi asking him to chase second brother and his wife out of the Xing family. Be that as it may, he did not find Mu Qiqi annoying, which was rare. Mu Qiqi still had classes, so she did not stay in the ward for long. But when she walked out of the ward, she saw Gu Xiling's resentful face. She could not help but say to the bodyguard, "Let her go." On the other hand, Gu Xiling wanted to slap Mu Qiqi right after she regained her freedom. But how could she succeed? But her wrist was caught firmly by the bodyguard. Xianxia is just arrogant, but you... Mu Qiqi, you disregard the law and do whatever you want just because you are a man. How long can you be so arrogant? I really find that every time you see me, you can use different adjectives to label me. Is this some kind of superpower? I welcome you to dislike me, but you can't do anything to me. Mu Qiqi smiled. And all the schemes and plans you have in your heart will not succeed. Gu Xiling, take good care of Grandpa Xing. Because now he is the only value you have in the Xing family. Sco. After saying this, Mu Qiqi shouted at the bodyguard. But just as she said, Gu Xiling wanted to do all kinds of evil things to her. But at least for now, Gu Xiling had no chance. Xianxia would not let Gu Xiling get any chance. Gu Xiling hated her very much. She could not wait to engrave all the humiliation Mu Qiqi brought to her in her heart. Because that was the only way she could remember Mu Qiqi's hateful face. One day she would make Mu Qiqi pay back 10 times, 100 times for what she had suffered today. After visiting the old man, Mu Qiqi called Xianxia on her way to school. That old man has already woken up and is full of energy. Don't worry. After listening to the little one's words, Xingzhao's gaze fell on the documents on the table. It was an invitation letter specially sent by the relevant department. They were going to attend an important banquet on New Year's Eve. If there are no cases in the branch tonight, go home early. I have something important to tell you. Can't you tell me now? Mu Qiqi was intrigued. I can't. Slowly curling his lips, Xingxiao hung up the phone. What an honor it was to attend the state banquet as an outstanding young entrepreneur. He wondered how excited that stinky thing would be when it found out. Mu Qiqi's heart itched. That man was too hateful. He told her what he was going to tell her at night so early. However, just as she was puzzled, Mu Qiqi caught a whiff of Feng Shanshan's perfume when she entered the classroom. Don't you never wear perfume? What? Was it to cover up the scent of wood? Aren't you trying to hide something? Feng Shanshan held her head and looked at Mu Qiqi. Don't talk to me. Don't forget that the final exam is coming soon. It's time to compete for first and second place again. You're the best in the world. I won't fight for it. Mu Qiqi shrugged indifferently. You mean you're going to let me? Do I need you to let me? You flatter yourself. Why is it raining again? Mu Qiqi pretended not to hear what Feng Shanshan said. She looked out of the classroom and sighed. Anyway, she did not like being in first place. What was so bad about having someone in front of her? Mu Qiqi, didn't you tell me not to talk to you? Mu Qiqi flipped through the book casually. I think I'm interested in Tang Yan's body. You mean you want to? I don't know. I just want to sleep with him, but I don't want to take responsibility, nor do I want to talk about feelings. Mu Qiqi, exclamation point. Your ex-boyfriend treats you like this. Are you going to treat others the same way? Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan seriously and said, Officer Tang has never experienced feelings. If you don't really like him, don't mess with him. Otherwise, what's the difference between this and playing with others? I'll look down on you from the bottom of my heart. I look down on myself too. Feng Shanshan took a deep breath. It was just that Tang Yan's figure and temperament were really tempting. Seeing that Feng Shanshan was also so troubled, Mu Qiqi could not help but laugh. You want to sleep with him, but you don't want to take responsibility. What kind of expression do you think Officer Tang will have when he finds out about this? Maybe he'll be very happy. Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan's expression and suddenly thought of something. Is it because of that that you don't dare to be serious with Officer Tang? Feng Shanshan knew what Mu Qiqi was referring to. Her eyes dimmed. He can meet a pure and clean girl. It shouldn't be like me. As expected. You're not Tang Yan. How do you know that he can't accept it? I don't deserve him. Feng Shanshan knew this very well. A policeman of the people should have a good girl by his side to accompany and take care of him, not someone like her who had played with feelings and made mistakes. Mu Qiqi opened her mouth. There were still a lot of things she wanted to say because she wanted to talk about Xianxia. But she realized that Feng Shanshan and Lu Xianxia were very different. Xianxia had never hurt others, nor did she play with others' feelings. She had never spied on anyone for money. But Feng Shanshan had it all. She probably felt even more inferior than Xianxia. I think it's not up to you to decide. It depends on Officer Tang's feelings. Don't jump to conclusions if you haven't asked him. This time it was Feng Shanshan's turn to stop talking. In the afternoon after class. When the two of them walked out of the classroom, the professor called from the forensics laboratory. There's a dismembered body case in the suburbs. Are you free? Mu Qiqi thought of what Xianxia told her at night. He asked her to go home early. So she told Feng Xianshan, I'll ask Xiao. After Feng Xianshan heard it, she answered the professor first. I'll come over right away. Then Mu Qiqi took out her phone and called Xiao. Xiao, is the thing you mentioned this morning urgent? What? Did the professor summon you? Yes. He said that there's a dismembered body case in the suburbs. Call me after tonight. I'll come and pick you up, Xiao replied. This little one must be itching to see the scene. Chapter 579. I know. If I'm cold, I'll take off my uniform and put it on. Mu Qiqi hung up the phone in a hurry. She once said that Xiao came first in everything. However, since Xiao could keep her in suspense until the afternoon, it meant that this matter was important but not urgent. Moreover, Xiao knew her the best in this world. If he really needed her to do something, he would definitely tell her. Soon they arrived at the police station. At this time, the seniors of the criminal investigation team were also getting ready to go. When the professor saw Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianshan, he said, Tang Yan drove here today. You two take his car. After listening to the professor's arrangement, Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Xianshan. She was relieved when she saw that there was nothing wrong with her expression. Because Feng Xianshan was not someone who could not distinguish between work and work. The group moved quickly. However, the weather was too bad. Even if Tang Yan drove, he could not speed up. It always rains this winter. The senior from the forensics team was a little helpless. I'm going to rot soon. Speaking of rotting, Feng Xianshan's house should be rotting too. Tang Yan looked at Feng Xianshan through the rearview mirror. But he saw that Feng Xianshan seemed to be absent-minded. Rain is really the enemy of the police. Once it rains, the evidence will be washed away, Mu Qiqi said. Half an hour later, they finally arrived at the forest in the suburbs. It was not a crime scene but the place where the body parts were found. Before we find the other body parts, the forensics team might have to work hard tonight. There are many wild animals on this mountain. Some of us can't differentiate between human and animal organs. It's a bit heavy. Please bear with us. Let's do it this way. The professor, Gao and Qin will be in another group. The two interns will be in another group. Tang Yan, you are in charge of protecting them. The captain was assigning tasks. This way we can find the other parts of the body as soon as possible. Okay. Everyone was wearing raincoats and holding umbrellas. The forensics team members were even wearing gloves. Several groups of people set off in different directions. The road up the mountain is very steep and slippery. It's raining now, so the road conditions will be even more difficult. Both of you just do what you can. If you can't go up, don't force yourself and burden the team. I can identify the corpses, Tang Yan said to the two of them before going up the mountain. After all, they were two delicate girls. This kind of harsh environment was not a place they should be in. Wherever the criminal appears, that's where we should go. How can we be picky? We will try our best not to drag you down. Mu Qiqi promised Tang Yan seriously. Moreover, it seemed that it was really necessary for Xiao to train her physical fitness. Tang Yan looked at them for a long time and finally said, okay. The group of 6 quickly set off in the most dangerous direction. The police opened the way in front while Tang Yan protected them from behind. Feng Xianshan and Mu Qiqi looked very carefully along the way, afraid that they would miss any important information. After searching for 40 minutes, Feng Xianshan grabbed the tree trunk and took a deep breath. Of course, Mu Qiqi was not much better. In fact, the two of them had exceeded Tang Yan's expectations. We found something. The police in front shouted in the rainy night. When Feng Xianshan and Mu Qiqi heard that, they immediately walked over and saw the body parts that had been washed clean on the ground. They quickly said, it's human. There's no mistake. Another cruel scumbag. The two of them squatted on the ground to take photos for evidence while the other police officers continued forward. However, perhaps because they did not see the road clearly, one of the men slipped and fell to the edge of the cliff. At that moment, Tang Yan pulled him up with one hand. Be careful. The two girls are fine. You're a man, how can you be so embarrassing? The rain is too heavy. I can't see clearly. The man patted his chest with lingering fear. Thank you, Xiao Tang. I didn't expect you to be so good at martial arts. Tang Yan was probably the only one in the whole team who could carry a person as easily as carrying a bag with his bare hands. Feng Xianxian turned her head and saw the scene. Her eyes were filled with mixed emotions. She was a little stunned, a little obsessed, and also a little disappointed. I don't think there's a need to continue forward. There's no road anymore. It's all cliffs. Then let's go down. The two girls probably can't take it anymore, Tang Yan said. Let's go back first and see if the other teams have found anything. Feng Xianxian and Mu Qiqi felt cold all over. After all, the rain and cold wind had poured into their bodies. They did not know how long this bad weather would last. The other teams did not find anything because Mu Qiqi's team had found them. Oh, the rain is too heavy. It'll be more dangerous if we go up. Let's go back first tonight. We'll take these body parts back and put them together to see what's missing, the professor said to the police team. Tang Yan, send the two assistants out, the captain of the criminal investigation team ordered. No need. My family is on the way. Officer Tang, please send Xianxian home. Tang Yan glanced at Feng Xianxian and nodded at the captain and Mu Qiqi. I'll send her home first and then come back. No need. We can't do anything tonight in this weather. We'll talk about it tomorrow. The captain patted Tang Yan's shoulder and told everyone to go back. Tang Yan did not refute because he saw Feng Xianxian's cheeks were red from the cold. Are we going? Feng Xianxian did not hesitate and followed behind Tang Yan. They got into the car together, but Feng Xianxian sat in the back. Go back and take a hot shower. Otherwise, you won't be able to go to class tomorrow. I'm not that weak. I'm talking about your feet, Tang Yan said. Although he seemed to have noticed that Feng Xianxian was deliberately being cold to him. 10 minutes later, Xing Zhao's car stopped in the woods in the suburbs. Mu Qiqi quickly got into the car and snuggled into Xing Zhao's arms. It's so cold, Xiao Xiao. Didn't you say that you would strip the police's clothes? If I do that, what if someone else freezes to death because of me? Mu Qiqi said coquettishly. I was sweating all over when I went up the mountain just now. It's just that the cold wind blew while I was waiting for you. Xing Zhao looked at her teasingly but still took out a clean towel to dry her hair. Go back and take a good shower. It's best if you do another sweaty exercise. Mu Qiqi winked at him suggestively. But don't you have something important to tell me? You can tell me now. Chapter 580. On the other hand, when the off-road vehicle drove near her house, Feng Xianxian asked Tang Yan to drop her at the door because she wanted to go home. Your house shouldn't be much better than outside, Tang Yan said. I've already asked the workers to deal with it, Feng Xianxian replied. She perked up and was about to push the door open and get out of the car. Are you avoiding me on purpose? Tang Yan did not unlock the door for her. Instead, he asked Feng Xianxian through the rearview mirror. You weren't like this a few days ago. Feng Xianxian did not expect Tang Yan to notice it. With his EQ, he could actually notice it. She really could not underestimate him. Perhaps Tang Yan had guessed what Feng Xianxian was thinking, so he said to Feng Xianxian, although I don't want to fall in love and have deep contact with women, it doesn't mean that I don't understand other people's attitude towards me. What's wrong? If I tell you, I think you won't want to see me anymore. Feng Xianxian gave Tang Yan a heads up first. Tell me, do you need a roommate? You've already asked about this, Tang Yan replied. I've also said that I'm not used to living with others. I mean the kind that shares a bed and has something to do. Feng Xianxian leaned against the back seat and narrowed her eyes. Her posture was a little seductive and charming. You should know that I'm not a good woman. What was strange was that Tang Yan's reaction was not too extreme. You want to live with me? You can say that, Feng Xianxian replied. You probably think I'm crazy, right? Think so too. I can't help but think so. Tang Yan turned around and looked at Feng Xianxian. His gaze made Feng Xianxian's heart beat faster and almost jump out of her throat. However, he did not give Feng Xianxian an answer. Instead, he threw the key to her. Go open the door first. I'll go park the car. So, what was going on? However, Feng Xianxian did not think about it. She jumped out of Tang Yan's off-road vehicle and rushed to the door of his house. However, her hands were too excited and the key could not be inserted. Tang Yan parked the car and went out. Seeing that Feng Xianxian was still opening the door, he could not help but snatch the key from her hand and open it slowly. At this moment, Xianxia felt that she had fallen. Then the two of them entered the room one after the other. But before Xianxia could react, she was already pressed against the wall by Tang Yan and kissed wildly. In the darkness she only heard Tang Yan say, "Since you're the one who suggested it, don't regret it." Xianxia did not have time to regret, because the feeling Tang Yan gave her was very strong, whether it was kissing or caressing. They were obviously two impossible people, but at this moment they quickly walked to the bedroom and fell onto the bed. By the time Xianxia reacted, her legs were already held by someone, and Tang Yan went to the drawer to take out a contraceptive. Xianxia's eyes widened, but she did not have time to speak. Everything happened too quickly and directly. You can tell how strong a man is and how strong his body is. Xianxia had come for his body in the first place, so she naturally knew that she had made the right choice. In the dark, Tang Yan picked Xianxia up and put her in the bathroom. "Take a shower." "What about you?" "There's a bathroom downstairs," Tang Yan said. This man was definitely not a newbie, and he was not an idiot when it came to relationships. A man who could accurately judge a woman's emotions and pretend to be stupid in his heart was definitely very dangerous. His kissing posture was very skilled, and there were contraceptives at home. No one would believe that this man had no experience. Who had misjudged this man's information? Xianxia lay in the bathtub and rolled her eyes. But she had to admit that Tang Yan had subdued her body and heart. After the shower, Xianxia warmed up and simply tidied up Tang Yan's big bed, but he bumped into her. "I didn't want to sleep. I just feel sorry for messing it up." Tang Yan was wearing a black nightgown and looked at Xianxia. "If you want it, you can come to me directly. Or if you don't want to continue and just want a one-night stand, it's fine. I can pretend that nothing happened. I just don't want feelings. It's very troublesome," Xianxia answered directly. "Then we'll be bed partners, or you can want me to be your boyfriend. Our way of getting along will be the same as before. We won't talk about feelings." "That's not necessary. It'll be the same as before." Xianxia chose. "Okay, but I only have one condition. While maintaining this relationship with me, don't look for other men. If you like other men, tell me in advance and end everything." After saying that, Tang Yan turned around. "I'm going to sleep in the study. I thought that you've never been in a relationship before and you don't know what feelings are. You won't sleep with women casually." "Who told you that? Or who told you to define it for me?" Tang Yan raised his eyebrows. "Okay, I know that you're very capable in that aspect and very skilled. I haven't fooled around. A relationship is a relationship. It's just that I haven't been in a relationship in recent years, but I also have needs." After explaining, Tang Yan turned around and left the bedroom for the study. Xianxia laughed and then went to the living room. He still liked Tang Yan's fireplace the most. This man was very black-bellied. He was not like that in front of others. Behind the scenes he must have some wonderful love stories and private life. This kind of person was the most dangerous, but at the same time he would make you dig deeper. Wasn't that how women were? Even if they knew that the person in front of them was an onion, they would still not give up and peel it to see if he had a heart. But at the same time Xianxia would feel guilty. Because in the eyes of people like Wuxia, this was treason and a sign of not having self-respect. She was maintaining a dangerous relationship with Tang Yan. In the study, Tang Yan sat in front of the desk and wrote his diary. This was his habit. It was the first time in 2 years that he touched a girl's body. He was crazy, but at the same time he was serious. Although he knew that Xianxia was not a simple woman, and the more he grabbed her, the more she would run away, he was very sure that he would only have such a strong impulse and desire for someone who had fallen in love with him. But now there was a problem. That woman outside, it was obvious, she did not like to talk about feelings. Then he could only play hard to get. Women were like this. The more you chased, the more she ran away. The more you pretended not to care about her, the more she would chase after you. Chapter 581. At the same time in the banyan courtyard. In the master bedroom upstairs, Wuxia had just experienced an intense workout. Of course, she also knew what Xianxia wanted to tell her. An outstanding young entrepreneur. Wuxia felt very excited just thinking about it. "I'm going to give you an award, right? I have to go too?" "It's just a banquet. Besides, you're my wife. If you don't go, who's going with me?" Xianxia stroked Wuxia's hair and tucked her hair behind her ear. Then what do I need to prepare for that kind of scene? Etiquette? Or something else? Or do I need to dance? Nothing. That night you just need to stay by my side and be yourself. Wuxia thought about it and felt very proud. Because in just a short year Xianxia could do what others could not do in decades. Okay, when the time comes, I'll be very obedient because I only want to see your most handsome side. Xianxia hugged her and pulled the blanket for her. I've said what I need to say and done what I need to do. Go to sleep. Wuxia was satisfied. She lay in Xianxiao's arms and soon fell asleep sweetly. Sometimes living too comfortably would make her feel frightened. Because she was afraid that God would take away her happiness at some point. Therefore, even with Xianxia by her side, Wuxia still cherished every day with him. She did not want her life with Xianxia to have any regrets. After the little one fell asleep, Xianxia got up quietly and went to the bathroom to get the first aid box. Then he put on his nightgown and sat on the edge of the bed. He looked at the little one's red and swollen feet and gently applied medicine to her feet. Her little feet were blistered just like that. She did not know how long she had been walking on the mountain. The next day Xianxian woke up at Tang Yan's house. She thought that it would be very awkward to see Tang Yan, but she did not expect that Tang Yan had already left home in the middle of the night and went to the police station. Xianxian heaved a sigh of relief and went to Tang Yan's room to clean the trash can because there was evidence of their crime last night. She did not expect that Tang Yan had already cleaned it last night. Alright, everything was because she worried too much. After breakfast, Xianxian went to school. She did not know why, but she felt guilty when she saw Wuxia. Wuxia had warned her yesterday that if she was not sincere to Officer Tang, she should not provoke him. In the end, the two of them had sex last night. However, Tang Yan was not an idiot in love like Wuxia thought he was. He was so secretive. Who knew how messy his private life was in the past? Wuxia looked at Xianxian and felt that there was something wrong with her today. What happened when you went back with Officer Tang last night? It's not like you don't know him. With his personality, what could possibly happen to him? Xianxian replied. I'm afraid that you won't take responsibility if you bully her. You're thinking too much. Xianxian pushed Wuxia's head away. Focus on your book. Don't you need to take a test? Wuxia shook her head and did not continue asking. In her opinion, Tang Yan was the kind of man who came from a good family. No, it should be said that in everyone's eyes, Tang Yan was the kind of man who did not lust after women. Only Xianxian knew that this man was dangerous to the core. In the afternoon after class, the two of them went straight to the police station. They wanted to know if all the bodies of the dismembered body case had been found. The professor asked them to go to the autopsy table to take a look. After the rain stopped, the police went up the hill to clean up again. Tang Yan brought a big bag of body parts back to the police station and was putting them together. This is not the only victim. Wuxia and Xianxian looked at the body and said to Tang Yan. A man and a woman, and they like tattoos very much. Alright, the bodies have been found. The rest is up to you, the forensic doctor. After that, Tang Yan stepped back and let Wuxia and Xianxian go forward. Xianxian saw the man stepping back and brushing past her. Her heart suddenly stopped for a second. When she thought of the man's ferocity last night, she could not help but blush. Both of you will do the autopsy today. I'll watch from the side, the professor said to Wuxia and Xianxian. Tang Yan, what's wrong with your hand? Hearing the professor's question, Xianxian pricked up her ears. It's nothing. I was looking for the body in the morning and rolled down the cliff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have found these body parts. Your physique is indeed not bad, but you can't be so reckless. If something really happens to you, how am I going to explain it to your father in the future? In the end, you still need a woman to control you. If there's nothing else, I'll go out first. Tang Yan was still cold. He did not take the professor's words to heart. When he went out, Xianxian took a look at his arm. It was full of scratches and bruises. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a bloody mess. In fact, Tang Yan had to admit that he did not clean the wounds on purpose. Because he knew that Xianxian would be in the forensics lab. Xianxian seemed to understand Tang Yan's intention. So, during the autopsy, she turned to Wuxia and asked, Are you good at judging people? I heard that you've always been good at judging people. In life, how can I really judge someone accurately? It's just my instinct that I don't like them. Then do you really think that Tang Yen is an idiot when it comes to relationships? It's not that I think so. From the first time I met him, you've been telling me how low his EQ is and how he doesn't care about you. Mu Qiqi smiled. That's your intuition, not mine. Feng Xianxian did not say anything. She suddenly had a feeling that she was the purest person in the world. Stop talking nonsense. Let's get down to business. After saying that, Mu Qiqi put the two bodies together. But after they were done, the two of them looked at each other and called for the professor. The professor was shocked when he saw the tattoos on the bodies. At first we thought that these two victims just liked tattoos. But after we put the bodies together, we realized that the tattoos on their bodies are unusual, Mu Qiqi explained. This kind of thing seems to be psychic. I've seen it in a movie before. I hate solving cases related to metaphysics the most. The professor sighed as he put on his gloves. Although I don't believe in gods, I'm still in awe of them. I always feel that touching these things makes me uncomfortable. Professor, it's not these things that make you uncomfortable. It's the story behind them that makes you uncomfortable. Chapter 582. Let's study it together. Let's see what these patterns mean. The professor picked up a magnifying glass, intending to study those spine-chilling things in detail. Mu Qiqi too went to look up the name of the horror movie and found the patterns in it, showing it to the professor. This pattern is tattooed on the body after death. Its meaning is to destroy the soul of the deceased and prevent them from reincarnating. It's like a taboo spell, but the murderer didn't just put a curse on them, he even dismembered them. It's clear that the murderer hates the man and woman very much. The murderer must know such sorcery. Well, it's almost the weekend. If you have the time, go with the police to the spot where the bodies were dumped. You might find something there. Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian shared a look and nodded. Although there had been cases like this before, it had been deliberately done by someone. But now 2 corpses were placed before them. To tell the truth, even if they believed in science, they still felt chills running down their spines when they came into contact with such things. In the hospital at night, Grandpa Xing's ward was filled with the Xing family. The Xing family naturally had to show their concern for Grandpa Xing since he had suffered such a great calamity. Of course, some of them could not help accusing Xiao. What's wrong with 8th brother? He didn't even inform us when something so serious happened to you. He just did it all by himself. Those who don't know him would think that he's plotting something against you and the Xing family. Who knows what 8th brother is thinking? He's up to no good. I allowed 8th brother to do this. The old man said, leaning on his sickbed. If you want me to die early, do your best to sow discord in front of me. Let me see what you're up to. As soon as the old master finished speaking, the whole family fell silent. Of course, the Xing brothers could tell that Xiao was returning to the Xing family. I know what you're thinking. The old man sneered. But don't worry, 8th brother isn't coming back. I know what you're thinking. Grandpa Xing sneered and continued, but 8th brother has no intention of coming back. You can rest assured. That's not what we meant. After all, 8th brother was the one who wanted to leave the Xing family. Back then he was so disdainful and even did not hesitate to hurt you and Huangyao. It was not easy for everyone to calm down. Of course, I don't want our lives to be disrupted again. Grandpa, you should rest more. You don't have to waste your energy explaining this to everyone. After all, it was 8th brother's expert who helped you get through this. We should all thank him, said Xing Kai. Uncles, don't you think so? No one said a word because they did not know what Xing Kai was up to. Since all of you are here today, I'll verify this matter as soon as possible. I've already made my will in triplicate and each one is being kept by someone else. I've never thought of changing it, so no matter what kind of thoughts you have here today, it's useless. Now that Huang Yao is under 3rd brother's leadership, I am very relieved. I also hope that you can do your best to help 3rd brother. Don't think about other things that you shouldn't think about. Even if I'm really gone one day, don't think about causing any trouble. I've already arranged everything. After hearing what Grandpa Xing said, everyone became even more silent. They could not help but look at each other. Who didn't know that Grandpa Xing was most biased towards Xiao? Since he had already made his will, it must be biased towards 8th brother. Grandpa, we're just worried about your health. If you're really worried about my health, don't come here with so many people making a ruckus. I can't rest, said Grandpa Xing. Don't come here in the future. Since Dad said so, let's go back first. We can rest assured with second brother and Xiling taking care of him. No one knew which uncles made the suggestion, but everyone tactfully left Grandpa Sheng's ward. At the same time, Sheng Kai's expression was very ugly, because he did not expect Grandpa Sheng to make his will so early and in triplicate. Of course, this was not good for him, because third brother was the most popular person in front of him, and eighth brother was the apple of his eye. The other brothers were nothing in the old man's eyes. He had to know in advance what the contents of Grandpa Sheng's will were. But who else knew about it other than Grandpa Sheng? Sheng Kai racked his brain for a long time. Finally, he locked on to one person, the butler. It was very cold outside at night. Feng Xianxian did not go home with Tang Yan because she was in the forensics laboratory, while Tang Yan was out in the field looking for clues. So when she went home, she bought some medicine for scratches on the way. Tang Yan returned home almost at midnight. Seeing that Feng Xianxian was already asleep, he did not disturb her. But the medicine on the table was so eye-catching that he showed a very different expression. The trick of injuring oneself to gain confidence was indeed useful. Then he quickly took a shower. At this time, Feng Xianxian was also woken up by the movement in the living room. She sat up and saw Tang Yan coming out of the bathroom in the living room. She said, "There's a bathroom in your room. Why did you come out to use it?" "The shower head above is broken," Tang Yan replied. "Go to sleep. I'll try to be quiet." "Your hand, it's fine. It's just some external injuries." Tang Yan looked at the broken skin on his arm and said, "I'm used to it." Feng Xianxian got up and picked up the medicine from the table. She walked in front of Tang Yan. "Are you really heartless, or are you deliberately trying to gain sympathy in front of me? I used to do this often. Besides, men are not so delicate." "Of course not." Feng Xianxian cursed in her heart. "Tang Yan, can I ask you a question?" "Go ahead." "Can you tell me the truth? How many girlfriends have you had in the past?" This was obviously a freebie question. But Tang Yan knew that he could not answer this kind of question according to Feng Xianxian's wishes. He would disappoint her. "If you're included, there might be 8. "I don't count," Feng Xianxian immediately said. "He was at most a bedmate." "Then why are you still pretending to be a good man? You made Mu Chichi think that I bullied you." "I never said that. I never had a girlfriend. Men like you, when you're tired of playing, pretend to be good men to deceive women's bodies and minds. If I hadn't seen through you, would you have found a pure girl married and had children?" After hearing Feng Xianxian's words, it was as if he was some kind of pervert. So he took the opportunity to hug Feng Xianxian's waist. "Tired of playing? If I'm tired of playing, will I still have you?" Chapter 583. "You like my body very much, don't you?" Feng Xianxian could not refute that. "I really underestimated you. You are worse than I thought," Feng Xianxian said, resigned to her fate. Tang Yan carried her horizontally and put her on the bed. "I'm very happy that I have changed your impression of me. So, can I enjoy my bed partner now?" Feng Xianxian felt that she must have been possessed. That was why she allowed Tang Yan to do whatever he wanted. In the past, she felt that she had flirted with a man from a good family. Now she felt that she had offended a big boss of the dark side. That kind of feeling was really beyond her imagination. Who would have thought that the seemingly righteous Officer Tang would be so bold and unrestrained? "When you provoked me, you should have been fully prepared. A single man who has lived for so many years must have a woman by his side. Unless he is impotent." Feng Xianxian raised her eyebrows. But then she completely lost her temper. That night she slept on Tang Yan's bed. Because Tang Yan deliberately made her legs weak, she could not even stand up, let alone go to the sofa in the living room. Then he got up from the bed and went to the study. If he wanted to completely win Feng Xianxian's heart, he could not sleep with her. He had to continue to hang on to her, ignore her, and be cold to her. Just as Feng Xianxian said, he was harmless in front of others. But behind her back, only Feng Xianxian knew how dark a man he was. The next day, Mu Chichi woke up very early. Because the professor had asked her and Feng Xianxian to follow the police team to the mountains to look for clues and evidence. Xing Xiao saw that she was in a hurry, so he stopped her. "Don't forget what you promised me. Don't forget what you should do tomorrow." "Don't worry, I remember." Mu Chichi patted her chest and promised. I will go home early in the afternoon and then go to Zhongting to accompany you to work. No need, Xianxia said teasingly. Are you pretending to be obedient? You don't have to pretend for me. I'm not pretending. I really want to stay by your side, okay? President Xing, Mu Qiqi said impatiently. How can you think of me like that? Idiot. Xianxia scolded her affectionately. Then he let go of Mu Qiqi. Do you believe that I won't cut your feet off? When Mu Qiqi woke up yesterday morning, she saw a band-aid on her heel. Other than her own man, no one else cared for her so much. I'm wearing comfortable shoes today. It's not going to get hurt again. Xianxia did not say anything and just waved his hand. Mu Qiqi smiled and leaned forward. She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him on the cheek. Wait for me in the afternoon. Xing did not move and just looked at the newspaper in his hand. Mu Qiqi stopped teasing him. She walked out of her house and went to the police station as fast as she could. However, it was already so late. The police were all ready, but Feng Xianxian was nowhere to be seen. Mu Qiqi looked around and saw that Tang Yan was already in the group. The two of them lived so close to each other. Did they have to avoid each other so much? Teet 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 teet, ye that Feng teet teet. Overslept? I didn't set the alarm, Feng Xianxian replied. Did the others leave? Of course. I'm the only one who will wait for you. Mu Qiqi got into the police car. In fact, Tang Yan's car was right in front of them. Feng Xianxian also saw the person driving the car. However, the two of them were already so intimate, but they had to pretend that they were not familiar with each other during the day because she really did not want to provoke any more feelings. Looking at Tang Yan, it seemed that he only enjoyed physical contact and did not want a girlfriend. Soon they arrived at the forest at the foot of the mountain. Mu Qiqi noticed something. So we climbed so high that night. This is the highest mountain in Jianchuan. It's 2,800 meters high. That night we might have climbed less than a quarter of it. The senior in the team explained to Mu Qiqi. It said that there are still people living on the mountain. So our main task today is to check on those people. Tang Yan was leading the team. Of course, there were no other girls in the team. So the task of protecting Feng Xianxian and Xianxia fell on his shoulders. There are 12 families on the mountain. 6 of them are on the mountainside and the other 6 are at the top. Why are there so many people living on the mountain? This was not a scenic area and the terrain was steep. Why did the people not go down the mountain to live? That's because there's a temple on the mountain. This temple is also the place we are going to check today. When we go up the mountain, try to climb the steps diagonally. When you go down the steps, you must do so. Otherwise, your knees will be seriously injured. Tang Yan reminded Mu Qiqi and Xianxia before they went up the mountain. Feng Xianxian's knees might not be the only thing that hurt. Her legs were still weak because of last night. She could not even use her strength when she walked normally, let alone climbing the mountain. What's wrong? Mu Qiqi asked when she saw Feng Xianxian lying on the tree. Are you not feeling well? You look so pale. Are you sure you want to go up? I didn't sleep well last night. But don't worry. I can still hold on. I'm just asking you to follow them to find clues. I'm not asking you to risk your life. You don't have to be like this. If you're really not feeling well, stay at the foot of the mountain. Tang Yan said coldly to Feng Xianxian. Don't drag down the progress of the entire team because of you. Feng Xianxian thought to herself. Although it was the truth, this damn man did not have to say it so directly, did he? When he was with her, he could say all kinds of provocative words. He changed into a different person during the day. We can't let her stay here alone, can we? Mu Qiqi said. You guys go first. I'll send her to the car, Tang Yan answered Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded. She was relieved. Although Tang Yan did look very businesslike, the group set off first. Therefore the group set off first. Feng Xianxian was grabbed by Tang Yan. You don't look well. Let's go home and rest. I don't need you to worry about me, Feng Xianxian said impatiently. I can take care of myself. If you faint later, we'll have to waste manpower to carry you. You stay here. If the murderer is still on the mountain and you're unlucky enough to meet him, what will you do? Feng Xianxian glared at Tang Yan and did not say anything. Who's to blame? Be obedient. I'll send you out first. Hearing Tang Yan's soft words, Feng Xianxian's face was no longer as sour as before. She obediently climbed onto Tang Yan's off-road vehicle. If you send me up and come back, will you still be able to catch up to them? You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.